Oh, you trying to buy
Uh-oh.
from your whatnot?
Yeah, I asked
Yeah.
Carl to buy something because I think I can get stuff over to him cheaper by him buying it from Whatnot than if I paid the postage normally.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
I brain farted sending Bill a message, so if somebody can send Bill a message, Bill probably brain farted to Showtime.
Oh well. Oh well, come
Devil
on.
will be in a little bit, and Bill will be here. There's a lot of things.
It's in the.
Ah.
It's all in the Geeky Weekly chat anyway. Oh, let's put you on the big screen if you're going to show some fine comic books. Start
And
off with.
turn your phone sideways there, Stick.
Yeah.
There
you go. Full screen.
That's probably better than the one I sold Kyle.
For all you boys,
that's an early one, I say. Number 3.
Well, number 3.
Churchill. Winston Churchill.
Where's Winston Churchill?
Oh, that kills me. If I didn't know the backstory to that, I'd be begging you for that book.
Yeah. This belonged to my dad.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, pretty cool.
I wish my dad bought some bloody comic books when he was a kid and kept them.
This the story behind the whole book itself.
Yeah.
You're breaking. That's just my internet being crap. Everyone's breaking up a bit.
People that know I just goof around when I try and count them out of their first book or stuff like that. But man, I look at that book of his and I just drool. But I don't even tease him about it. It's like, well, hell, if your dad got it for
that issue of Submariner 3 was the one and only possession that my orphan father owned as a 9-year-old.
Wow.
Yeah. So after so many years, and I got into comic book collecting, I eventually swung a deal and I managed to get him his stubby. And the day I brought it to him, I placed it down on the table and he just broke down in tears. He had such fond memories of it because it meant so much to him. You know?
Yeah. Yeah. Because it's the one thing that was his.
Yeah. So anyhow, I have since inherited it and it's NFS, as they say, right?
Yeah.
NFS.
NFS.
Tell me, what kind of NFS books do you have?
You asking me? Yeah. So I probably it's one. My dad didn't collect comics, so my not for sale ones are the special sort of historical ones that are really rare. So, for instance, I've got at the end of World War, at the end of the Second World War, the government banned the importation of books, magazines, and comics.
Oh, hi, Neville. Hello.
Into the UK because they wanted to support the publishing industry in the UK. So they wanted. So we couldn't get. There was no American comics able to get into the UK. So there was an English guy called Leonard Miller.
L. Miller.
Who lived in Hackney, and he set up a company in 1943 with the intention of publishing reprints of American comics in the UK. Now, the first comics, and he actually did this, and he got the license to Fawcett. So he got the license from Fawcett to do Fawcett comics. And in 1945, he produced 3 copies of Whiz comics, which are just identical reproductions of the Whiz comics that were coming out at that time in America. So it was Whiz Comics 60, 61, and 62. And they're the first comics from L. Miller and Son and the first Captain Marvels in the UK. And I got these about 4 or 5 years ago. Those are not for sale because they're
right.
I've never seen another one.
Did you decide which ones you're going to grade?
Yeah, so I'm going to do what the majority of people said, which is I'm going to grade those two, and also the Captain Marvel Junior
one. Yeah. Kind of figured. Pretty easy to drool over those as well. And when I cut off my camera, I shot Bill a message, so we need to get Bill the Brain Trust in here.
Yeah.
So, Graham, how many people can you get on this? Can you get up to 10? Because, like, I threw out some more invites, but that aren't coming up. But
I have got the maximum amount, but I'm not sure what it is. But yeah, more than 6 anyway. But I never have gone more than 6. But I can.
I mean, my grandnephew ain't gonna come on this week. He's talking about potentially coming on next week.
I've done what now?
So, might get some more bodies on here.
No, but I like your hair.
Brain trust. I need to.
It's like,
Okay, so everyone's frozen and you're kind of lagging in and out of reality on my end.
Yeah, you might need to relog back on, buddy.
yeah, mine's a bit.
Mine's
Well, it
fine.
might just be my internet being crappy as always. So I'm up and down with my blinking. At the moment, it seems all right.
Hello,
Nice.
Brian. Yeah, and I need to talk to Simon, and we need to get Simon on one day and like have a truly global show. So
Somebody's
That's
got me.
Simon in Australia.
yeah, Simon's in Australia, but you Brits have us Americans outnumbered. Well, I'm the only American today because Bill ain't here right now. But I brought in another North American with Johnny today. And I want to put you in the group chat link so I don't have to keep like linking this to you if we con you on. But I wanted to ask you that before I just threw you in there if you wanted to be in the group chat with us on this one.
Does that entail having to touch my phone and write words?
No.
Not really. It just kind of gives you a heads up. Like if we got a guest coming on or something, and that's where the link generally goes into. So.
Oh, okay. No, whatever. Yeah. Go ambivalent.
Go ambivalence. There you go. I don't know.
Enthusiasm was underwhelming.
You want to see some cool stuff?
Exactly.
I always want to see cool stuff.
Yeah.
You guys want to salivate?
Oh, and right when Nevs was cutting out, because Nevs going to say, oh, man, I put this garage door up and I forgot school lets out right now.
There you go.
Yeah.
Oh, Sunday Times Jubilee, Queen's Jubilee. How the heck did you get that?
Because I'm Canadian.
Of course. Oh, of course. Yeah. Oh, lovely.
Is that a 50s? Original from the 50s? Or is that a later reprint? The Jubilee, the 25th year anniversary, or what anniversary is it?
25th and 76, was it? 76?
Salacious tales, I say.
Yeah. Yeah, and I've got a London Sunday Times of the Princess Di and Charles wedding, so a newspaper. So
Was it Princess Margaret liked partying on one of the Caribbean islands, didn't she? I seem to recall.
Yeah.
Lady Bountiful.
Lady Bountiful.
I'm going to show you some platinum.
Yeah, very nice.
I think
sounds enough food, but I'm sure it's not.
Russian, yes?
Is that Hebrew? Oh, Russian, is it?
I think it's Russian.
Nope.
That's Russian. That's Cyrillic up top. So,
Nope.
yeah.
Yugoslav.
Okay.
Soviet bloc. But it's written in Cyrillic. So, yeah, Soviet bloc.
Soviet bloc.
Film Fun 2. 2D. That's Film Fun from the UK. Yeah, that was quite a long run. A quite long running comic.
1921 or thereabouts.
It's got a date on it. It certainly was. But yes, could have been.
What's the date on that Film Fun?
27, I think.
It's actually it's a later one. It's 37.
37. Okay.
Oh, that is old. Apparently,
Winnie
I was
Winkle.
doing one of my many podcasts.
Winnie Winkle is what I call my John Thomas. You're doing one of your podcasts about what?
So I wasn't sure if I was coming out. No, just say it was the anniversary recently of the Phantom. He was invented apparently in February, and this website was claiming he's the oldest superhero. I think he's I can't remember what the exact.
Like he's in the
but
top
it's,
10 oldest
apparently
costume
just
superheroes.
recently.
Yeah. He's in one of the top 10 oldest superheroes. One of the original.
Well, it's
Now, my son and I have had a long discussion about this, and we believe that this may in fact be the most powerful being in the universe.
Yeah.
Why?
Well, Bugs Bunny has the innate ability to be able to just put down a black hole and you're done.
Ah, yeah, that's true.
Right? So it's my feeling that Bugs Bunny is more powerful than any other super being.
Ooh.
It's up for debate, but you'll see at the end of the road, I'm right.
I think, what's that creature called Roadrunner? Can't he do that as well? Out of the studio into the home, Hobbit. You picked up some really old British comics or magazines.
Hobbit's a wily supplement.
For me, it's all about the illustration. It's just
yes.
You want to see something crazy? This is the craziest thing I think I have. I don't know. This is from Hobbies and Practical Wireless, published by Geo Nunes.
Yeah.
Southampton Street, London.
Yeah.
July 9th, 1932.
Brilliant.
Making water shoes for the seaside. Look at this shit. Is that like Aqualad?
Yeah. I mean,
it's like that's where they lifted Aqualad from. You know, I could spin that tail and say, yeah, this is the original prototype for Aqualad. Send it to DC and somebody would pay me like $900 US for it, you know? It comes with instructions and all kinds of great shit. Very simple.
I wonder if Nevs is walking around a splat trying to get signal.
Not comic related, but since we've won the Revolutionary War, you know, we can make America great again. Hogarth Tarzan.
Nice.
Hey, you want to blow Mark's mind? I don't think he ever saw the plate in the page.
Oh,
you got that plate nearby?
I do.
Mark, you ready to drool like crazy? Talk about a one-of-a-kind piece?
Well, if you've got the plates, they're definitely one of a kind.
This is one of the other things I traded away. So,
as in
you know,
plates, I guess you mean.
Like, yeah. Like
the Kal-El collection.
Like I was talking about to Roger the other day, there are things, parts of my collection that definitely I could have, if I'd have kept them and put them together, it would have been pedigreed. That amateur John Byrne work thing that Roger's got's got to be the highest grade known copy of that one. Have you got your CGC books back from?
Any day now. I'm hoping the standards and moderns are back in the London office, but the economy and moderns are back in the London office, but the standards haven't arrived yet.
So I could just go there and say, my name's Mark Oldroyd, and have them come on, Mark.
Yeah, I didn't want to tell people the grade until you showed it, but I didn't know if you felt like sharing with these guys.
Hello, my name's Mark Oldroyd. I've come for my comic books.
And you know what's killing me, Mark? You know what's killing me? The issue number 4 I have of that, which is in my possession but belongs to Johnny, there is an even higher grade.
Issue 4 of what, of the Mickey Mouse?
Yeah. Is in even higher grade.
Really?
What book?
Ifs and buts and close only counting horseshoes and hand grenades, mate. So
Oh, it ain't ifs and buts.
I-
I'm telling the
I-
Mickey Mouse #4 that's on its way, that seemed to be on its way up to you.
What book, Kyle?
The Mickey Mouse magazine #4.
Right, I've been waiting like how long for that now?
A year,
Thank you.
pretty close to a year.
Well, I
It's in his box though.
Mickey Mouse
I just-
volume 1, #2 from Kyle. And we both thought it was going to be a 4.0 graded. And it's come back a 6.5.
no, it's
So
decent.
second highest graded copy. There's one 8.0 somewhere.
Which is a file copy. So you have the highest non-file copy grade. And the one going to Johnny is even higher. And the only reason he doesn't have it is because I forgot to tuck it into the last shipment I sent to him. I literally forgot to tuck it in. I just brain farted tucking that into the shipment. So
Okay. Well, I've got not much to say today, apart from I just to show you, I've read 40 odd issues of Ghost Rider this week.
Oh, well
So
done.
far. And I say this, it's not a bad run. It's not a bad run. Quite
speaking of sexy Stubby,
that's a nice one.
Still looking for that.
If anyone
Still
gets the
looking
chance
for
to read
that
it,
plate.
40.
still looking for that plate. While he's looking for that plate, I
Anyone
might
gets-
tiptoe upstairs and grab that #4.
That's nice. Which series is this?
That's the tail end of the first series.
Okay.
Johnny sent me a stack of Canadians of the later issues. I love those. So, but yeah, I sent him some oversized things and some old like 1936 Popeyes and stuff, and I forgot to put that Mickey Mouse in there. So, but it's his. So
There we go. Hang on. Nope.
No, still searching. All right.
yet another one of those things from my collection that'll have the "you will never see one of these again" that he's going to pull out here. And I saw 9 of them and let them go.
There we go.
Ah. Is that a printing plate?
It is.
That is a printing plate to Tarzan by Bern Hogarth from Sparkler Comics 1942. And that's actually a plate of the last page.
Great.
Oh. I'll put you on the full screen actually.
You didn't get all 4 colors.
And that printing plate is done by a master etcher. I mean, the Hogarth is a master artist, and that printing plate is done by a master etcher.
Yeah, the amount of work that went into producing these things in that sort of era is phenomenal.
And I had that entire story at my fingertips, and I only got 1 page. And Johnny said, I want that. And I said, well, I love you, so let's trade. And again, that's from
Just lie, you got your
1942.
laptop ready.
That is from 1942. So, that's only, 80 years old? An 80-year-old comic printing plate.
Outrageous that the plate even existed.
Yeah.
An 81-year-old
They'd
print.
have melted those down, wouldn't they, to reuse them again normally?
Yeah,
So,
that'd just be melted
I don't know
down.
what you
That's
feel.
all that would happen. It'd just get melted down.
fellas, I gotta take off, but hopefully I'll see you next week. That would be amazing.
Okay.
Cool, yeah.
I'll leave you on this note. Oh, we're the boys in the chorus. We hope you like our show. We know you're rooting for us, but now we got to go. Bugs Bunny is the most powerful being in the illustrated universe.
There you go.
I'm going to dispute this next week. Anyway,
All
See you
the
soon,
best.
mate. See you soon.
Stay well.
See you, bud. Yeah, we got to get Neville back. Bill brain farted being on today. I got to trot upstairs and show you that Mickey Mouse that's
Yeah,
going
Neville
to.
was saying he's trying to sort out his other laptop. He's saying because he was getting too much nothing but lag. Basically, is all he was getting. So
Yeah, it was obviously his.
anyway,
He got a tattered copy of that Sparkler 19, or he would have opened it up. But you can put it side by side right with it, and you can see all the details and the impressions. And to have an actual copy of the book that was made from.
That's great. Yeah, I've got a number of Alan Class comics with the plates, the full 4-color plates, which they came directly from Alan.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd give my right arm to have some of those, but been there, done that, had a 1942. I'm good. You know, I don't need to stock up no more. I am literally right now, I am so focused on an X-Men 15 that, you know, everything else will be icing from there, but for sentimental reasons. So, and then from there, it's just a walk. But yeah, I'll go up and get that other Mickey here in a little bit. But I was so happy when you told me that. A little stunned by the Spider-Man, but so thrilled by the other ones.
Oh yeah, that one and the ash can for the swimsuit special. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's actually the first 9.8 that I've had where I've submitted it and it's come back a 9.8.
Well, there you go. And I've got a library full of stuff like that. Like I've got all those signed images. I mean, if you want all those, I can figure out a way to get you all those. I've got all those signed ash cans. I got every one of those, but like Spawn and Savage Dragon. But
yeah, I got a few. I've got 2 you sent me, and I think I've got the Max one, I think. Yeah, I've got a Max ash can.
I just frittered through those over the years. But yeah, I'll smoke this cigarette and I'll trot up and grab some minis and show them off. But I got to really tiptoe around because the missus just fell back asleep. We had a bad thunderstorm here. It's the dead of winter. And what I looked it up is like 15, 16 Celsius here right now to give you an idea. You know, it's dead of winter and it was snowing last week and now it's having spring storms.
Yeah, that's quite a nice temperature, 15, 16. You're not far, right? We're about 10, 12 here at the moment. Similar.
Nice and fancy.
you took in the same temperature.
Yeah.
Are you both talking Fahrenheit? Are you both talking centigrade? Or are you talking?
I'm talking centigrade.
Yeah, I'm talking. I looked it up because it's 60 degrees Fahrenheit here. I looked it up so I didn't sound stupid because I knew I'd be comparing the temperatures. Because I got to go out of my way lately not to sound stupid. So
I'll show you some recent pickups, shall I?
No, it's different. We wouldn't be
These came in the post.
stupid about saying it in your words. We're stupid about that.
you are cutting up so rough, Graham.
This is really not. I haven't. How long? I've been collecting Batman forever, and I've never seen this comic before.
That's probably my favorite Infantino, but that ain't saying much.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's
Infantino just ain't my cup of tea, but that is an awesome.
That is a good cover. And got some nice Supergirl adventure comics starring Supergirl. You've probably got a few of these, Gray, I suspect. This is the Romance Machine. And
Well, that's me.
Be with you in a minute, darling. As soon as I finish dressing, he doesn't dream his date, Linda Danvers, is Supergirl. And his date is going, take your time, Linda, baby.
Yeah.
He doesn't dream I'm a computer programmed by Brainiac to break her heart.
There's my mom calling us all handsome. She just missed Johnny on here, so Neville will be on in a
She
minute.
said a high handsome man she used to.
She was
She said a high handsome man. She weren't talking to you. Yeah, she's only talking to me.
Yeah. So, but yeah, Mark, I don't know if you noticed, I'm a little wry on the late night shows here, but you know, I don't know how the chips are going to fall, but I'm starting to carry myself like a Suddenly Comics representative now. So
I know you're doing well.
I'm not so vulgar, but can we talk about that now?
About you being vulgar?
No, about me and Mark.
I think we probably need to do that privately, Kyle. It's probably
Okay, it's just
on a live.
You know, I'm always hyping Mark, and you know, I put Mark on the top of my pecking order when I hype friends that sell comics. I put Mark on the very top of that. So I speak highly of him, and I don't want to come off badly if I'm speaking for him in any way. Even though I'm, you know, a vulgar asshole some days, but you know.
Don't worry about that. So this is Supergirl. Adventure Comics 381, and it's after 10 years, Supergirl gets her own magazine. This is her first book-length novel. There we go.
Oh. So is that the first one? She's the star of the comic.
Yeah, the first one in which she's the star, I think.
That bumps the value up on that a little bit, doesn't it?
Yes.
Possibly.
I mean, that'd be like at least a minor key, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it's a minor key.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty much after all adventures. If I see them and I haven't got them, I will try and buy them if I can.
Yeah.
So adventures definitely the ones I'm after.
Yeah, these all came from a guy on the internet. He's obviously an older guy, and you know, I think these are coming out of his personal collection. Adventure Comics, and they were all reasonably priced. $3.93. This is Supergirl, the Unwanted Supergirl.
Yeah.
And this one, really nice. I hadn't got this. I do collect Strange Tales, and I haven't got this one, and it's in really nice condition, reasonable price, and it's a UK price variant. Strange Tales $150.
Oh, claim all day long. Do you know what that is?
Well, it's Strange Tales $150. What else is it, Kyle? Tell me.
It's the first Jim Stranko.
Is it really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
It wasn't advertised as that. Is that the first?
Yeah, that's the first Jim Stranko.
Oh my goodness. Well, that's a good purchase then.
Yeah. Claim on I think Stranko did inks over Kirby in that and took over in 151. But yeah, that's the first Stranko art ever. That's the first Stranko comic art.
Oh, okay. Right. Okay. That's excellent. Pleased with that.
Yeah.
Man.
That's why my brain is a good thing. But I'm going to double check that when I go up and grab these books. But yeah, that's the first Stranko art.
Check he's not being truth adjacent again.
No, I'm pretty sure he did that he did panels or assist or whatever. He took the whole book over the next issue. Or well, the whole Nick Fury part of the book.
This is my second one of these. Justice League 21. I mean, it's in it's in lowish condition.
Speaking of Justice League, when we were first talking about things you wouldn't let go of, I was waiting for you to talk about Brave and the Bold 28 because
well, I'm letting go of that now.
I tried to talk you out of that for Johnny.
You did. Hi.
That's on his Guerrero list. How are we holding out now?
Hey, can you hear me all right? Sorry about that.
Yeah.
I had to go to my backup laptop.
Yeah, that's good.
I seem to be better lit as well, which is quite good.
Probably still lagging.
Superman 177. Yeah, I'm doing a bit of DC buying recently. Some more Lois. I think you've got that one, haven't you? Kyle. Not Kyle.
Yeah.
Greyman. Yeah. And this is fun. This is Action Comics 350. It's the Supergirl board game.
Oh. Sweet.
All right.
Yeah, so it's an
Yeah, I
exciting
think
game. I
I'm-
begin as the
yeah.
unknown Supergirl, and here I am at last as the world's greatest heroine.
That's a bold claim, but all right.
And finally,
Who
Superman
could compete with Supergirl?
40, the son of Bizarro.
Oh, get out of town. Or stay in a country, I guess would be the bizarre way of saying it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're very sad because Bizarro doesn't resemble them. He resembles Superman, and they're very upset. He's not abnormal.
Oh, he's not. Is he not pale skinned and
No, he's like a Superboy.
a normal
But if
baby?
he's a
Oh dear.
Bizarro, he shouldn't resemble his parents. He should be a Bizarro version of Bizarro, which would be Superman.
Even out
that's what
Superman doing the dirty on Bizarro. You know, what can you say?
Oh, Jesus. I suppose
Superman's
Bizarro marriage wouldn't involve monogamy, right?
Yeah, maybe.
That's true. Well, rarely does humans. Right. This is
Comet the Super Horse,
322, and we've got Proto, the super pet. He's the blob.
Yeah.
He's the blob that's sort of shape himself.
Is that Proti or Proti 2? Is it Proti 1 or Proti 2?
Oh, good question. Proti 2. Proti 2, yeah.
Proti,
I don't know what happened to Proti 1. What happened to Proti
1? The first one sacrificed himself so that Lightning Lad could live.
Ah, okay. I didn't know that.
I believe.
Interesting.
Comics is a whole world.
I think if you didn't hear any.
That's it. That's my DC haul for this week, for the last couple of weeks.
Okay. I'm not even going to bother trying to speak because I don't think anyone can hear me half the time anyway.
I can hear you perfectly fine and unbroken as well.
No, okay, it makes a change.
Even if there seems to be a slight delay between us.
Okay, let's try for the 50th time on this stream to talk about this comic book. Because I've tried about 3 or 4 times already to mention it. I don't know if you guys have read Ghost Rider 40, but it's got the silliest. Well, the story just is ridiculous. Right, this bloke's going to blow up this nuclear power station because he's against nuclear power and he wants to make a big warning to get everyone from stop you. Right, he's helicoptering away, right, knowing he's going to get caught in the blast. Ghost Rider zooms up the side of a nuclear tower. This one here you can basically see. Takes out the helicopter and then drives off into the sunset. Not a single thing is said about deactivating the explosion that's about to happen. Literally, the guy just says, it's going to blow up any minute. It'll take me with it, but at least the world will get a warning. Instead, he takes out the helicopter with him on it. Not a single thing is said about he just rides off and it's the next issue. Like, literally, it's like, what the hell? It's lazy Marvel storytelling, basically. It was ridiculous. Not a thing was said about this explosion, but there you go.
And it's never come up in subsequent issues, no?
No, actually, that was the last one I've read, actually, I think. So maybe I'll go to issue number 43 and it would say Ghost Rider responsible for massive nuclear explosions. So maybe I was wrong. Maybe it will come up in 43, but...
I've got a feeling it's never going to be mentioned again.
Ghost Rider Chernobyl prestige format one-shot. I'm all in.
Me and my truth adjacency has come through again. I was 100% right. 151 is Jim Steranko's first full artwork. It's actually his first artwork. 150 is the first John Buscema. 150 is the first John Buscema artwork. Steranko came in 51. Buscema came over from Charlton. And Buscema's first Marvel work is in 150.
Oh, excellent. All right, you were close.
So that is the first John Buscema, and 151 does start with with
That's your week.
Strango. But yeah, except for this Dust Shadow right here, this is in better shape than the other one.
Oh, I don't think that is. I don't think that gets 6.5, mate.
So, but yeah, February
It is fancy,
1934. Mickey Mouse from February of 1934. And I done let all mine go, but
You got
let's
some
see.
more to show up on the full screen if you're showing some more.
The Unbelievable Nth Man, autographed by Steve Bissett.
I love 1963. I thought that comic was great.
Fearless Fury, signed and numbered, the ash cans, and these are in just unbelievably. This one's got a little wear on it. This one
That is a
doesn't.
good series. I read that as well, actually.
That doesn't.
Who is it?
So how do you get those? And are they the material that was in the comics originally?
These are the what, the 2-month advance copies. They came out 2 months in advance. They were the advance.
Hiding in the
Let's play Spot the Cat. Hey.
And there's a signed and numbered splitting image number 1.
Now that is ironic that you follow that with that, because Don Simpson has just done the ending to 1963 on his own.
And then there's a
great
unopened Stormwatch signed by Scott Williams before he died.
Oh.
Scott Williams died? How did I not know that?
I didn't know that either. I just didn't really want to
Or
bring it up.
Scott Williams. Scott, whoever did this, not Williams. Scott, that guy. The guy
that guy.
Did that
Guy Scott. Yeah, he's well known.
That guy Scott.
That guy Scott. How about Wildcat Zero? How about some Jim Lee goodness?
That's nice.
Yeah.
Back when the draw.
Just kidding, Jim Lee. And how about a numbered issue of Death Blow?
Oh, that was Jim when he went full Frank Miller. So I've seen
Oh,
Sin
yeah.
City. Anyone can do that. You just extract all the color. It'll be fine.
Yeah. But that's the ash cans that I still have left. Only one's got a little wear on it. The rest of them are probably 9/8 or thereabouts. So, yeah. High grade ash cans and limited ones. And thanks for my
Oh, yeah,
collection.
Nth Man in there. Let's see the Nth Man.
Did you say Nth Man?
Nth Man.
In man.
Oh,
I
N-Man.
thought
I thought you meant like the new universe
he
guy.
gets it from the Nth degree. He's in Man because of Nth. I always called him Nth Man. And
Who
now
signed that?
proven wrong. That's beautiful.
Who signed it, Kyle?
Steve Bissett, the artist. Hey, K-Pop, the ash can from my collection I just sent to Mark over here, and it graded a 9/8.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's the Ashcan to the swimsuit special. It's got the first artwork in it by J. Scott Campbell, so it's worth a lot.
Oh, wow.
That's signed by Bissett up top, and like I said, this one's signed by Don Simpson, and this is like Scott Caldwell or whatever that was. He died, like he took his own life not long after this.
Oh, my gosh. I never knew that.
No.
Like,
Wow,
and these two are numbered to 5,000. The signed ones are numbered to like 2,500. These two are numbered to 5,000. So, and they have different colors on them too. They printed them on different color paper, so they're considered variants like that. But yeah, except for this stain. But it's my issue number 2 that I just let go of to Mark graded a 6.5. So,
Wow.
the highest graded non-file copy. I
Not
already
bad.
created as a file copy. So, some of my toys. All right, Katie. Here's the deal. If you're gonna be in here talking, I'm gonna send you the link, and you're gonna come on here with us, aren't you? Tell me your hair is did up, Katie, and you're gonna come
Are
on.
we having the Norman Bates moment of the show again? Or...
No, wait. There's not a
More
dead old
mates,
lady in
so
Mark's
you can
seat,
tell. They
though.
took something in the chat.
Oh,
He's
okay.
not
I understand.
on the chat. Who's
Johnny.
saying
That's a person.
Johnny had to pop off after showing his Submariner number
Yeah, you know,
3
because
from
you're
like 1940.
doing that.
I have Ashcan.
Sometimes he's
There
talking to himself, voices in his head. Sometimes he's
said
talking something in the
laptop
chat.
doesn't fall over.
That's the only thing to remember. Now, everyone's gone now. I'll go and eat Kyle.
You know what?
I'm
I'm gonna make myself
Kyle.
disappear. I'm gonna make myself disappear because I'm gonna send a link to Katie and I'm gonna try and get K-pop on here with us. Everybody getting books.
I'm going to
All right, leave it to
enjoy the
me.
evening crowd.
All right, there's you. Now I can cut out. All right, Bill, it's your world. Oh, there's
Oh, I'm
Neville.
back. It's all right. Okay. Ashcan sized things. Wait. I keep my stuff. Okay, so I'm gonna scantly. I'm gonna skip through. Oh. So I just found the little. Look at this baby. This is a Mars Attacks, even smaller than an Ashcan. So for comparison, I will put up a copy of Robin Boogie's Gutter Hunter that was going to talk about later tonight. That's how, like, this is a regular comic size. This is the size of the Ashcan.
That's really small.
What else?
Gonna put him on the full screen so we can see him better. Give it a sec. Put him on the full screen now, or the bigger screen. There you go.
There you go. I've
That
just
body
got my left to
doubles.
right.
I've got full.
That's the Body Bags
Body
Ashcan,
Bags,
which
correct.
was by the late Jason Pearson, which was much undernoticed.
He's done it
series. I
recently.
thought it was great. What else have we got here?
I've got the floor part. I don't know if they did any more after that.
There were a few series, but it was very sporadic. This was an Ashcan of the
Yeah,
Max.
only the first one.
All right.
Did you ever see the
Alright.
MTV animated
Mark,
series?
Mark, you all
anyone?
about that, ain't you?
Kyle, did you ever see the MTV animated series of the Max?
Yeah.
It was good.
I had
Yeah.
it on VHS, and I don't even have a VHS player
Oh,
anymore.
man.
That's how much I love the Max.
All right,
Yeah,
Katie, you
yeah,
got
it's
the
a lot
link.
to
You got to
love.
bring your artistic talents on here and blow these boys away.
I watched a couple of episodes of it, Bill, last month because I've never seen it, and I was quite impressed. It's pretty good.
Oh,
Oh,
it
it's
still
amazing.
stands up, and it's almost 30 years later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no,
It's the comic that Image should be remembered from the first few years because it was a really good comic that came out on time that span out into other media.
right.
Like, that's the one that you should go, oh, what was the epitome of Image in the early days? The Max.
Yeah.
Did
Oh,
exactly
yeah.
what they wanted to do and
And it was
established.
completely different than anything else they did, and it was so
Absolutely,
uncomic-like.
yeah.
It's really what they said they were going to do when they formed Image anyway, but they never really did anything at that level again, in my opinion. I mean, there, of course, Walking Dead and things like that pop up, but I mean, those are flukes in a way to me because Walking Dead is a fine zombie tale, but I don't know if it deserved to be a TV. I mean, the TV series is far better in my eyes, and it looms off from. It forks off quite a bit from the actual comic series, but I do feel like they put too much precedence in the wrong things in Image, because Image would have a lot more media presence right now. I mean, certainly they have Invincible and a few things like that are out that are quite popular, but at the same time, you would have expected Spawn to have something more than just kind of a B movie version of the show 20 years ago. And then, I mean, it was fine, but the effects weren't that great. But and then you had the animated series, which was quite good, but just lasted a few seasons or a couple seasons. So it's surprising to me that a company's linchpin or their Spider-Man, as it were, has not gone anywhere, while Spider-Man, of course, has soared in popularity and probably had somewhere in the neighborhood of 20 to 25 different series and vehicles media-wise in the same time period.
Yeah.
I'll get off my soapbox now.
Right? Image was a collection of artists, and Spider-Man was, driven by Marvel and Disney and Sony. Like, there's a lot more organization and power between one and the
absolutely.
other. So it does make more sense. But I think Image's potential and Image's backstory is far more interesting than their actual comics.
I agree.
You know what I mean? There's an amazing book by George Corey, who I think is probably a friend of the show, called The Road to Independence, which is sadly out of print. But it essentially collates a variation of, like, here's what happened in those first few years according to everyone's point of view. And I think what you could sit down and say is, if Image said, we are doing this, and then shut up for about 2 or 3 years, right? And spent those years getting 5 or 6 issues from each studio, 6 issues of Wildcats, 6 Spawns, 6 Youngbloods, 6 Wildcats, 6 Wetworks, and then put them out one after the other and added more books as they went along, and stayed with Malibu, so they didn't run away from Malibu and say, oh, wait, how do you actually publish comics? I think the world would be very, very different. And it was only that desperate desire to be, and this is my main problem with most, not all, but most of the Image creators, is that they are far more interested in generating hype than they are telling stories. And, you know,
yes,
Alan Moore could write any launch Image book, but none of them could write From Hell. And I think that's the difference. So if you ask your average Image creator, what is the end of your story? The question reveals the joke that is the problem. Do you see what I mean?
Oh yeah. No, absolutely. And that's my whole perspective on this and point, in that I had a vehicle that I did create a TV series for MTV, but that was problematic because the guy that we created it about died before it premiered, so it never premiered. And it was Don Ho, and it was the Don Ho cartoon show, and we made 6 episodes, and it went nowhere because it can't. I mean, they thought it was in bad taste to put it out right after he died, whereas I thought it would be a very nice homage to him because we didn't really make fun of him in any way. It was just he was being cool Don in the cartoon. And then I had an opportunity where I almost had my series, The Human Guinea Pig, made into a series at Hanna-Barbera, and then they got bought halfway through creating the pilot. So it's interesting to me that anybody can get anything out there, like, let alone Image, because there's so many pitfalls and so many things that can happen before you actually premiere the series. And even once it's premiered, it could flop, and for no reason other than lack of promotion. But these are all things you have to think about when you're a creator, and it's not easy. And you can't think about these things ahead of time, or like ahead of time, not ahead of time, but you have to create a good solid series first, and then you can turn it into all these other properties.
Absolutely.
But first, you have to have a solid story, and you have to have solid comics for it to work. And Image, I don't know, I'd like to go out on a limb and say they're hit or miss sometimes. I think the one comic that's been the most consistent has been the Savage Dragon. And I don't know if you guys... Yeah, and it's, I mean...
Well, Eric is the only one who walked the walk and talked the talk.
Exactly.
You know, I mean, Todd, and I have no problem with Stalin, but he's tried to do this thing where there have been over 300 issues of Spawn, therefore that is the same as 300 issues of Cerebus. But it isn't, because the difference is Dave did all 300 issues of Cerebus, Todd did the first 30-odd, and then Greg Capullo came on, and a lot of it turned into work for hire. But Spawn, for at least a decade, if not 2, has been other people who are not Todd McFarlane. That's why the comparison doesn't hold up. However, Eric Larson and Savage Dragon, unless something terrible happens, will meet Dave Sims' thing, meet that record of 300 independent comics created by one by the same creative team. Right.
Now, I will say this for Dave Sim, and Dave is a friend of mine, although I haven't seen him in years. But Dave, and I realize Dave's problematic as well, as we all probably know. But Dave
just slightly.
Well, yeah. I mean, now you're being sarcastic. No, I'm kidding.
I feel if we go off onto the problematic nature of Dave Sim, that's a whole show, and I would love to have that conversation because I love the guy's work. that
Well,
I find
he's
his
fantastic.
opinions difficult to deal with.
And he told one story in 300 issues. He didn't, I mean, of course, it went in different directions, but it came back exactly where he said it was going to end, with Cerebus's death. And now he's going to do more Cerebuses, and I hope it has the same level of quality, you know?
Well, he's
I
done
hope
quite a few.
people.
There's been like 3 dozen post-Cerebus 300 issues, and it's all... Well, he's doing the gimmick that has been the joke of the comics industry for decades, which is like every issue is issue 1. And every issue of post-Cerebus is a cover homage to something like League of Extraordinary Gentlemen or Secret Wars or something. And they're all in jokes about the comics industry. But now,
and they're
I am
all out
waiting
there to
to
make an
correct it
extra
on.
dime.
But
Let's
it's
be
essentially
honest.
Cerebus in Hell. And various drawings of Cerebus that Dave has done over the years are juxtaposed with various bits from Dante's Inferno, and he adds new punchlines. But it's basically Cerebus in Hell, the cartoon strip, so you read it that way. And it's it's all right. It's a good gang.
It's not
comic,
Cerebus
but
to
honestly,
me.
it's completely unnecessary. You can stop with Cerebus 300, and there's no exploration of the things.
Right.
There's no further continuation of exploring Cerebus's character. It's just Cerebus might as well be Opus or Garfield, like a little cartoon animal delivering a glib punchline to
exactly
about the comics industry, which we would get. You know, literally the 5 of us talking here, 6 of us talking here would get. But the audience beyond that, like, I don't know who would walk into a comic shop who wouldn't know the minutiae of Crisis on Infinite Earths, who would see The Strange Death of Cerebus or Cerebus and Rockets and go, oh, yeah, that looks interesting. And I think that's the problem with it, is it's comics about itself. But I mean, that's the problem with most comics, right?
Right.
One of the best things I collected Cerebus back in the day. You know, I've got them all. I've got the complete collection, but I haven't got issue 1, but I've got virtually every one. You know, they're sat in the box upstairs. They've been in the attic for 25, 30 years. But actually, I bought something new by what's his name? Dave Sim.
Glamour Plus?
Have you read The Strange Death of Alex Raymond by?
Only as it's been serialized in Glamour Puss. I haven't read the full story.
Right, yeah.
I haven't read it compiled, but
at the end of Glamour Puss.
It's just brilliant.
It's
my favorite thing.
It's wonderful. Yeah,
I mean,
and that's what I was going to.
It's about the comics industry,
right?
Basically. But it's a really peculiar book. I mean, it's a sort of, but the art in it, he tries to reproduce the art of some of the early artists, and he does a pretty good job. And he shows the art, and he talks about Neil Adams, he talks about Alex Raymond, he talks about, you know, the guy who did Viking Prince. Can't remember his name off the top of my head, but really fantastic.
God, it's killing me. Joe Kubert.
Joe Kubert, and he draws them all, and you know, it's really an excellent book. The Strange Death of, because Alex Raymond was the guy who did Flash Gordon, and he died in a car crash when he was in his mid-30s, right?
With Stan Drake.
Yeah.
He would later do Juliet Jones, and then go on after that, believe it or not, to draw Blondie of all comics.
Really? Okay. Yeah.
Oh,
I can top a lot of money in drawing Blondie.
I can top that for strange Stan Drake facts. Later on, when Jim Shooter was in charge of Valiant, before Valiant was doing Exo Manowar and Harbinger and Ray, they were doing licensed comics, right? So they were doing Nintendo, and they were doing WWF comics back when WWE was called WWF. So there is genuinely a comic which features Stan Drake, Steve Ditko, and David Lapham in the same issue, and it's about The Undertaker. And it's like one of those... I know this exists in my reality, but it does make me think maybe there is a multiverse and we're in the wrong one.
Oh, exactly. Or maybe we're in the right one. You know,
maybe we're in the right one. We have Stan Drake WWF comics, right? That's a thing.
Yeah,
that would definitely happen.
I like that. That's funny. I'm going to have to go break out. So I just got out of storage. I just got these. I have these like 2.5 foot tall NWA dolls from when they were NWA was a spinoff of WWF. They were the bad guys kind of generation. And I'll have to go get them in a minute. But there's a Hulk Hogan. There's a Sting. There's a Dallas Diamond
Dallas
Page.
Page.
Yeah.
Bang! You're the
Let me go
bang,
get
yo.
I've noticed there's quite a few comic sort of geeks who are also into wrestling. I don't know what the link
Well,
is.
it's the same thing. It's the same
I-
thing.
I-
I've
I-
wrote a thing on comic
yeah,
stripes. If you want to
wrestling-
know one, right? Okay, it is a episodic thing about the beautification of the
You
human
guys,
body
bad guys.
in conflict, wearing spandex and fighting each other for increasingly bizarre and nonsensical reason. Literally, superhero comics and wrestling are the same thing. If you want to get wistful about the Kree-Skrull War or the Secret Wars or Crisis on Infinite Earths, it's the same thing as WrestleMania and Super Brawl. And one fandom cannot crap on the other because they are basically Harvey Dent and Two-Face.
Nevs, I love you, brother.
Brother!
It's Hollywood.
Sorry, I
Hollywood
had to do that.
Oh, no, please do that.
Okay, so this is the Hulk.
here for the NWO Hollywood Hogan.
NWO.
Oh my God.
Not NWA. That's right. NWA is
It's
the Hulk.
NWO. It's NWO, man.
Okay.
NWO
And
for
then
life.
New World Order.
I'm even wearing my Abdullah the Butcher t-shirt, not knowing you were going to bring that. Is that Rick?
Rick. Woo!
That's
Yeah.
Ric Flair. He's not
Yes.
well, is he? That looks like today's Ric Flair.
Look at the sequence on this thing.
That's amazing.
It's a prototype, which was never made. So these are all fairly rare. Here's Dallas, Simon Dallas. Which way am I going? And
where are you? On the screen.
he strangely plays a Batman
No,
character
he doesn't.
in something on Netflix.
It's Sting.
It's Sting
The man
or
called
the Crow.
I
Whatever
am
you wanna
absolutely
call it.
convinced, right? And this is for my wrestling friends who are watching this. So the storyline with that Sting was
I'm easily handling Sting.
the NWO
Right.
invades WCW, and Hogan and Hall and Nash are all like, "We're going to take over." And Lex Luger and Randy Savage and Sting are all fighting this NWO group, right? And they're all like,
Right.
Sting, whose side are you really on? And he's like, I've been here forever. Whose side would I be on? How dare you doubt me? So he gets completely depressed, and away goes blonde guy, surfer Sting, and he comes back because Scott Hall said to him, you should dress as the Crow. And he dressed as the Crow, and that guy hung out in the rafters at WCW arenas for 2 years. He was up in the rafters just pointing his baseball bat at Hulk Hogan. It was the greatest build of all. Guy came back as the wounded Crow guy. It was the perfect extrapolation of the comic because, you know, the Crow is about the guy who is wounded or the woman who is wounded.
Right. I love that.
As I was saying, Bill, superhero comics and wrestling
Yeah, I
are
kind
the
of-
same thing.
Oh no, they are very similar.
Yeah,
they
wrestling's not
both
the same
tell a
anymore.
story.
You don't have,
And you have to
you
suspend
don't have
your
to catch.
belief. So
Well,
what is going on? Mark, why are you laughing? Train wrecks make you laugh?
With dolls. I'm sorry.
What?
Sorry?
Say it again.
Grown men playing with dolls. You look.
Oh, I got one better for you. Yeah.
Bring
What are
it.
you talking about here? Woo! Okay.
Bring it down a bit. Bill,
Who
bring
is
it
that?
back. We couldn't see it.
Oh, okay.
Hey, in case anybody was curious, there you go.
Woo! Look at these hands. Look at these hands, Mark.
Oh, look at it.
Just like human hands, except only 4
You gotta
fingers.
beat.
Doesn't need
My-
it.
My
He's the
wife
nature
would
boy.
kick me out if I came home with that.
He's the dirtiest player in the game. He doesn't need all 4 fingers.
That's right. That's right.
That's
So-
totally how the world works. The
So,
better
Mark,
you
Does
are,
that, does that look like something you just mentioned there, Nevs?
I can't see it because you're currently in the corner. It does look amazing.
Yeah, wait till you. Let's look you over then if you want
You mentioned
Oh,
it.
wow.
Bills.
I brought it out.
Oh, that's fantastic.
You mentioned
Lifestyles
it.
are
I brought it
brutal.
out.
You'll believe a man can cry.
Oh, is that a comic?
That is the comic he
Oh,
was
so that-
talking about with Stan Fox in it. Yeah.
That's amazing.
I'm not just making stuff up. The
Oh,
real
no,
world
you're
is
not.
too ridiculous for me to make up
Not this
anything.
time, at least.
Sadly, these if Tylox comes through on his end, these are getting traded to Tylox. But yeah, how about
The Rock.
That was
I thought that
that
for
was when
some
Chaos
reason.
Comics got involved with wrestling for some reason.
China.
The guys who did Evil Ernie and Lady Death did The Rock and China and Steve
the
Austin.
limited
shit,
edition
that's right.
China, the Zelda books, the
Holy
Zelda
moly,
books
that's
from the
devastating.
original Valiant, the
Hey,
Zelda books from the original
Who published
Valiant.
those? Are they? Oh my god, they're Valiant.
Valiant.
I had
Valiant.
no idea those existed. Okay,
Oh, yeah.
I learned a new
Game
thing.
Master from Valiant. And again, these are going to Tylox, otherwise I'd put them up there. Look, there's the Max #1, signed by Mesner Loebs.
Sweet.
Bill just had his 74th birthday, by the way.
You have that one, right, Mark?
I have got that. I've got Darker Image, but I don't think I've got that nice blingy one with the gold lettering and everything.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, here's the regular one.
Yeah, I've got the regular. Yeah.
Yeah, here's the you see the difference, no price.
Yeah. That's nice.
Oh, wow.
I figured I'd have to set that aside for you. Now the first batch were
Does it have a
Tylox.
fancy trading card as well?
I went to grab some image and I just pulled that one out. So I figure with this, I'll just pull out some image autograph books.
Wow.
There's the Wizard World Con version of Alley Cat 1.
Is that signed by Ali Bagat?
Yeah.
Is it Ali Bagat? Ali Baggett?
Alley Baguette or whatever, yeah. There's
Whoever she was,
the regular cover, but there's the Wizard World signed by her.
Who the hell is that? Is she a wrestler?
No, she's not.
She's like a cosplayer model.
Oh, okay.
There's Aria Summer Special, but I got that in there because I got a book plate signed in there.
That's cool.
I just grabbed all my image autograph books, so.
K-pop, yes, you are absolutely right.
Yes.
That was a Lobo knockoff. Yeah. It was
about
fine.
Blood Wolf is what about.
Yeah.
Signed by Hickman.
Oh, that was great.
Look at this one, Mark.
A regular book.
Signed by Hickman, even though it was one of the early J. Scott Campbell covers.
Yeah.
Common Ground.
So yeah, like that's a
Nighthawks.
totally put
Well, I
my
like that.
name
Because
behind
that's
it.
the
That was just like a
American
coffee shop
Diner,
where you
isn't
weren't
it?
allowed to fight. You would
That's signed by Hickman. And then we got the Image Valiant crossovers. These are a total cluttered mess, but that's signed by Marat Michaels and Pacello.
There's a story about a certain artist sitting outside another artist's house until that was drawn that I've heard quite a few times.
Eve Proto Mecha, the limited version of that one. Fire Breather, signed by Andy there. This is probably definitely the coolest Image comic I own.
Occult Crimes Task Force.
Signed by the entire creative team, including Rosario Dawson.
Oh, wow. Love her.
So that's probably my favorite.
I have a question,
Image.
serious question for you all.
Dude, I don't have Rosario Dawson's phone number yet, but I'm working on it.
You do, but you won't give it to me, I know.
Power signed by
There's that injunction I
Avon
can't talk about.
Oming.
So let me ask you this. Do you guys think, oh, that's beautiful. I like that. So do you
Red
guys
Star was
think
amazing.
that
Here's a nice little stealth signed by Silvestri.
oh, that's beautiful.
What's the question, Bill?
Okay, the question is, do you guys think that Deadpool is just a Rob Liefeld ripoff of Ambush Bug?
You don't know
really
the story
think that.
behind that?
I've thought that for years.
He's a juxtaposition of Ambush Bug and Deathstroke.
Oh, I hadn't even thought.
Then this is
Yep.
the obvious classic because we all know Hillary's my buddy.
Yeah.
Oh, that's gorgeous.
You know what? I only have a surface understanding of the man, but I don't think Rob would understand why Ambush Bug was Ambush Bug. I think Fabian Teaser might well have known what the appeal of Ambush Bug was.
Let's
And
watch
She-Hulk.
Nevs' head explode here.
I think it's basically Ambush Bug plus She-Hulk.
That's really
plus
nice. I like
reverse
that.
design of Deathstroke equals
Yeah.
Deadpool.
Do you see what that is, Nevs?
The Albion Ashcan, yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Do you
beautiful.
see what's? Oh no! There's Alan and Liam Moore's autographs on
Oh,
that.
bless them.
You haven't got another raw autograph, have you?
I don't have that issue of Iron Man.
Yeah, this has
I need that.
Alan
Who's
No,
that poor guy who's
Jane Oakley, Alan Moore, and Liam Moore's autograph on that one.
That's the
Yeah.
Iron Giant spin-off comic, isn't it?
Lots of these David Mack autograph kabukis.
Has anybody seen Ant-Man?
No,
Yep.
life is short.
Yep.
Who?
There's a nice little head sketch.
Raise your hand if you've seen it. You've
Yep.
seen it? Who else?
Yep.
Just you?
I've
You're the
seen
only
it.
one?
There's a Mac Gold. Yep.
What'd you think of it?
Not bad. Not great. Not bad. There's a non-gold version signed by Mac. Oh, look. Rob Liefeld autographs. Oh, boy. But at least it's the Wizard.
Well, you didn't pay.
Oh, he actually has feet in there.
Yeah.
Can you show that again? You really
Yeah.
do Rob feet.
There's actually Tootsies
Oh my
on
gosh.
You
They
know, it's
almost
the
look
feet,
like
that's
feet.
the signature.
I'm not sure they count as feet. They've
Bring
got so
it back.
small.
Look, I'm going to show you something.
there. Now, look.
No, Bill, go back to...
There's the little Dan
Kyle,
Panosian
go
head
back to the
sketch
rejects, go back
Prophet.
to the rejects.
That's pretty cool. But let's one-up it by doing another head sketch of Prophet.
What is it, this man with genitals? Why is it Rob, like, just draws men with their legs splayed, but you never actually see...
Another
Well, he and
kabuki
his
signed
psychiatrist
by
are the only ones who know for sure.
another kabuki signed by Atok M. Mac. And oh, flip it over. Oh, there's another David Mack autograph.
Let's make a
And
comic
then
called Kabuki.
I also
Because
have
karaoke's
the
already taken. What?
I also have the Ash Candid 3 signed by Mike Grell, but I got that set
Bill,
aside for Nauman.
Kabuki karaoke. You write
But
it.
there's
Let's do
nice,
it. Let's
look at
do
that
it.
Mike Grell signature on that
Show right
thing.
here.
Oh.
So
Here's
you know, I
something.
want to
Oh,
say
look.
this.
Image European Tour 1997.
Oh,
Come
Signed by
beautiful, actually.
Furchow. Oops, I got my hand over it. Signed by Stephen Furchow.
so I just want to say
Kyle, where did
this.
you get
A
all
lot
this
of people
stuff? You
have
should
asked me if
looked outside
Nevs.
the image offices and
Signed by
checked
signed at the Comic Cave in Hamburg, Germany.
So a lot of people have asked me this, Nevs. They think you're Texan because your last name is Otten, and that means I'm Otten to go to the store today.
Yeah.
I had to tell them you're British.
Is this a rip?
No.
Wait, what?
Another Liefeld hit there.
Suddenly I'm Rowdy Roddy Piper. What, people think I'm Texan?
Nobody. I was just joking because your name's
I don't know
Otten.
where I don't
You
think
I
I
ought to
grabbed,
go to the store. I ought to go to the
anything
bar.
could be
Okay,
true.
sorry.
I don't know if I grabbed my Turner autographs. I had them set aside, but this is a Turner book, but that's a different autograph. This isn't an image, but I always wanted to share it. Here's a couple of Keith Giffen autographs.
They're back. They're back. They're back. Black Bull Comics are back.
And there's a nice little
they are
card
coming-
signed by Giffen.
Oh,
They have
Trencher.
new comics coming out very soon.
I love
Their
Giffen.
Facebook pages
I
have
love
been
Giffen.
reactivated.
Hey, Katie, I hope you're still on here because, you know, Deathmate was cool. How about the rare signed by all the creators?
There is nothing legal I can say in response to this.
Well, it's legal. It just depends on what country you're in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If there's one thing I've learned the
Deathmate
hard way,
tour
is the
book.
thing you say on air that you don't think about is the thing that people mention to you years later.
Say,
Yeah,
and
fair
Tyler, I
enough.
showed off your stuff because we were talking about the book, but it's going to you. So I told him hands off. Oh, how about a Dynamic Forces Jim Lee while we're at it? Nice big Jim Lee.
That's a lot of
signature.
green.
Limited, yeah. Dynamic Forces Jim Lee. Oh, here they are. I knew they were around somewhere. Let's bring out some Michael Turner autographs.
Yeah.
There's
Well,
Turner's autograph, and there's the anchors.
Is that just a Namor ripoff?
No, just a different type of character. There's another Turner autograph.
how much crime is there underwater?
Quite a bit. Just
How about
making
some
that up.
Those damn dolphins.
Witchblade with Greg Land on it there.
Greg Land is his own set of problems.
Witchblade with Greg Land on it again.
What's Greg Land's problems then, Bill?
He's
Cough, Lightbox, cough, pornography, cough.
Yeah.
no, he's known for a far right opinion that's not in
really?
line with most other humans.
Oh, look at this black and white and gold limited convention exclusive. 1,250 copies of the book, and this one happens to be autographed by Silvestri.
Stallone. Oh,
I've
wait.
got 100 pairs of stretch socks, but I realized literally nobody watching would know what the hell I'm talking about.
How about the Dynamic Forces of Danger Girl autographed?
Yeah, well, what about a Sugar and Spike digest? How'd you like those apples, huh?
There you
Oh,
go.
I love that. I have that too.
How about a Nathan Queen Dark Child?
What about a Gem 13 zine?
Oh,
Got that right behind me.
Of course you do. Well,
How about a Dark Child remastered signed by Queen?
how
Blow me
about-
up for a few more
how about-
seconds, Graham.
You-
I only got 3 more books.
You're not going to win. You're not going to win. I've got a better comic than you game with Kyle.
I've got the
Yeah.
best 90s comic in my hand right now.
what is it?
Hold on.
It is.
I only got a couple
All
more.
right, go on, give me some build up.
I only got a couple more. There's
Ooh.
Kevin McGuire.
Ooh, that is good though. That
There's
is
Kevin McGuire autograph. How about
What's the name of the
Kiss,
book?
Bang Bang
Oh,
autograph.
What was that
Kiss,
last
Kiss,
book,
Bang,
Teen
Bang,
Angels?
number
It was
one.
Trinity Angels. It was a claim book.
oh,
There's a
Trinity.
Yeah,
Angels.
that's what
Okay.
I said. I veered off Image for a little bit.
It's really good. It's worth tracking
How
down.
about a triple sign Darkness?
Oh, that's beautiful.
With Sylvester in there.
series. Just
Yep.
So,
Okay, now
Some
go on to
David.
somebody else while I go dig out the Image
the
autograph.
best comic of the 90s. No, sorry, I'll tell you what, I'll qualify it. The best superhero comic of the 90s. And I will take no questions on this. This is not subjective.
When
This
you
is
say of the 90s,
objective fact. In the
So-
same way that water is wet, this is the best superhero comic. of the
okay.
90s.
So is this a character created in the 90s or reprised?
It was a comic
reprised.
published in the 90s.
Okay, so
it
it could be Batman, it could be Superman, it could be any of those.
Spectre.
It
Demons.
is the wedding of Rick Jones and Marlo Chandler from The Hulk, drawn by Gary Frank, guest starring Death from Sandman. It is genuinely the comic that has the most humanity of pretty much every superhero comic published in that era. If you have read
How did they get Death in there?
They didn't say it was Death. It just happens to be a dark-haired girl with very pale skin and a black crop top wearing a ankh.
Oh, that could be anybody.
That could be anyone, right? Could be anyone.
I always love Mark's responses to these things we say. You know,
The beautiful bit is when she's talking to somebody and she's like, "I've got to go. That Thanos guy keeps on stalking me."
oh, I love that. Did she
Anyway.
really say that?
Yeah, yeah.
I've got that somewhere.
Certainly the best art of any comic I think we've shown so far.
It's horrible. No, it's
Also-
good. It's good.
If I do this, do you know what it is? Do you know what it is?
3D.
Mania running wild. Joke for one person. My comedy is so
me.
niche. Literally one person will get it.
Is that the book he was just showing?
It certainly
got the
was.
full-
It is.
The full
I
die
have-
cut one and
I put it up
everything?
because this is the ash can of it, which linked it into what we were doing, you see.
Oh,
There
they
you
made
go.
an
Yeah,
action
sure.
of that? Now that's
Ah.
shocking.
Shocking. It's downright electrifying. I can barely touch it.
See what I mean?
I think so this is a period where Marvel were trying to put out as many comics as possible, so they were selling ash cans direct through
How
what
did
would have
I
been.
not ever know this?
Oh, there were loads. I've got a couple of X-Men ones here as well, but God, this is like They
That's
saw that
freaking me
Wizard
out.
and Hero were doing really well out of having ashcans with their books. They went, well, we don't have to give them to Wizard. We can just sell them directly through. God, was it Marvel Vision? Yeah, when they went crazy and started up Heroes World, their catalogue was called Marvel Vision, and they solicited these books through that instead.
Bill, you appear to have got some small sex toy in front of you.
Yes. No, it's not a sex toy.
Yeah, I was
Well,
gonna-
here's what it is.
Tonight.
So this is the prototype of this. This
Okay.
is the Black Canary Mattel figure,
Okay.
unpainted prototype from China. And I got it a number of years ago. And this is what she wound up looking like. Let me do this right.
I think I prefer the prototype.
So that's all. It's nothing major, but it's kind of
Right,
cool to get a
nice.
prototype.
Nice. Yeah.
All right. Mark, I set that darker image aside for you.
Yeah,
All right,
that'd be great.
one more time, then I'm going back downstairs. But blow me up one more time. Since we're talking about Savage Dragon,
Blow them up. Sorry. Oh no. Oh, thanks. Okay, I did want to mention, just for anyone who doesn't know, it's Ash Wednesday. I just wanted to say that.
There you
Okay,
go.
I'm done now.
The
So-
event comic by Joe Quesada has its own day.
there's the newsstand of Savage
That's the most
Dragon
abuse
one.
joke I'm going to tell on the show, I'm sure.
There's the Eric Larson signed version of Savage Dragon 1.
Wow.
So I got
So
the newsstand and the signed version.
Is it still
And then
going?
these, I'm not even going to bore you with all these, but these are all
Oh, come on. You will.
newsstands.
Pour away, go on.
You'll bore us with them.
Newsstands.
You know you will.
These are all
You have
the,
nothing else to do.
the 5% newsstands here.
Hobby
So
the blow up time. Wait, what?
on 14, Spawn 19.
Oh, that was the one that shipped out of sequence.
Yep. Then
That's a
there's
wonderful.
It's early Greg Capello.
Oh, is it really? I didn't know that.
Yeah. He took over as regular artist after issue. Well,
19.
after
That was
26,
issue 19. He took over on
19.
19.
Oh, wow.
There's
Oh,
a
I didn't know
Hangman
that.
cover again. Newsstand. Newsstand. Whoops. Newsstand.
Is that 32? The one with the orangey cover?
34.
Oh, well, we're a bit
The
out of sync,
previous
but-
one, yeah, 32.
Yeah, that's the first Greg Capello, I think, where Spawn gets his giant right boot for the first issue.
Yeah, 34 newsstand, 35 newsstand.
Hey, for those out there who don't know this, because you blew my mind when you told me, explain why the newsstand copies of Image are so wanted.
There's
I
they
presume.
started out less than 10% of the print run. By this time, they were less than 5%.
That's
And they
amazing.
went
I
on the
never knew that.
newsstand. So,
No, that's
so
interesting.
condition is key, and this was a high grade newsstand later issue where it was like
First
Wait,
time,
wait,
first
hold
time
on,
you've
hold on.
ever
This might
wanted
be
a
really
UPC
useful.
on your comic.
Does this apply to all the early Image books that were newsstand distributed?
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah, you get them with
Yeah.
a UPC, and yes.
Awesome.
Spawn was here.
oh, Brigade number 1, the newsstand. Cyberforce number 3, the newsstand. And then the much rarer later issue, Cyberforce 27 newsstand.
Are those the Steve Gerber issues? No, he did Codename Strike Force, didn't he?
Did he? I didn't know
Darknet
that.
Yeah, for real.
newsstand.
True story. The issues of Codename Strike Force by Steve
Lily,
Gerber build up to
that's
the
the newsstand on the back.
Howard the Duck and like whatever the destroyer, Savage Dragon Destroyer Duck, where Steve Gerber
Bit number 4.
Oh, yeah.
the clone.
Yeah.
Solid card, newsstand. Yet another one that makes no sense to me, but Stephen Platt artwork, but Supreme 12, the newsstand. Vanguard 1, the newsstand. Wildcats 4,
Does it have the coupon?
newsstand. Special number 1, the newsstand.
That's really the Travis Charest artwork.
Wild Star number 1, still in the polybag newsstand. Speaking of Michael Turner, we'll wrap it up with Michael Turner. Little Witchblade 14 newsstand. And then I grabbed it because it was there. But yeah, there's a French-Canadian Spider-Man. But that was what was behind it. But yep, that's my image show and tell for the day. So.
Spider-Man seems so much more profound in French.
Okay, you can shrink me because I'm done showing
Batman.
anything today.
Okay, I wanted to ask Nevs this. Nevs,
It wasn't me.
what does this have to do with Steve Gerber?
Steve Gerber wrote a plot for it or something. I know he had something to do with.
Was that Destroyer?
He
Was that
created the
Destroyer?
series with Jack Kirby.
I'm sorry, Bill. You talk. Say that again, please.
Oh, I'm sorry. He created the series with Jack Kirby.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Did not know. All
Yeah.
right.
And in fact, that's where he got most of his money from, because TV money is way better than comic money.
Is this what the infamous scene from Secret Wars 2 is about? Do you know what I'm on about?
No, I don't know.
Right,
About
that's a
that.
bit of an obtuse way of putting it. There's a bit in Secret Wars 2 issue 1 where the Beyonder goes over to a Hollywood writer's office and has a go at him because I think the writer is saying something about making much more money.
Yes, that's the Gerber in joke.
TV rather than comics.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
The illusion
That's a dig at Gerber and Stan Lee.
Yeah, not a dig, not a dig exactly. I mean, it was the truth. I mean, a lot of people did that. You have Keith Pollard did that. You had who's the guy who used to draw Thor besides Pollard?
Steve Rude, John Buscema, Walt Simonson,
Ron Friends.
No, there's someone else we're leaving out. I can't remember his name
Joe
now.
Swinell.
He drew very much like Kirby in classic Marvel.
Sure, it's not Ron Friends.
No, not Ron. But I mean, Ron did it too. But I'm thinking about somebody different. It'll come to me. He's my friend on Facebook, but I can't. Besides Keith Pollard, I can't think of the other guy's name now. But they both worked for, and so did Will Munoz. Will worked for Marvel Productions, as did all of those guys that I just mentioned. And so Marvel had an animation company in the early 80s to maybe 90. And a lot of the people, you had Doug Minch, however you say it. You had, I believe you had David Anthony Kraft even doing some of the writing on those.
To Patty Freeling, is that what?
Are
that
you
was
laughing,
called?
Mark? Or are you just trying to keep your yawn?
No, I've just
stifled?
realised that what I thought was your hair hanging down in front of your head is actually Ash from Ash Wednesday.
Yes.
Oh!
I'm not a member of the Misfits. Yes.
I just thought that was your look. I thought,
Yeah, it's my look today.
That's
Yes. That's why I said, guess what today is?
I know. I got there half an hour later, Bill. If you suddenly see
I'm so
me
happy
laughing,
about that.
I've got a
That
joke
makes me
with
very,
Neil
very
Metro half an hour ago.
I saw you go like this all of a sudden, and I hadn't even delivered a punchline, but you had one in your head. So
It works its way through my head eventually. And
Men of
I
a
do
certain
like that
age.
you had a punchline
I'm
in
part
front
of
of
that
us the whole
company.
time. That's like David Lynch levels.
Yeah,
Ash Wednesday.
So I thought it would have rubbed off or been off by now, but now it looks kind of cool. You can still see
I meant to
it.
dig out my Joe Quesada comic of that too, and I forgot that joke. But
So I have a
was
friend
trying to
named
find a
Joe
copy of
Quesada
Ash
who
as
gets
well.
into conventions free because he says he's Joe Quesada, and he's not lying. But he's like 30 years younger. It's hilarious. You're Joe Quesada? I had no idea. Come on in. He'll even show him his ID and I didn't know you were from San Antonio. What? It's great. I love that stuff.
Ray, have you lost the will to live, mate?
all right,
Gray
Graham,
is absorbing today. He's in absorb mode.
He's in internet not working properly
Yeah.
mode.
Oh, okay.
He's going out later for maneuvers. That's why he's wearing camouflage. That joke hit like a Led Zeppelin.
I know London.
I was expecting a guffaw or something.
I'm going to bring up a comic that I know you guys will like, but you've probably not heard of it. You might have heard of it, but this is a book by Robin Boogie called Gutter Hunter, who does various adult-based comics available directly from him. But Gutter Hunter is a collection of essays and comic strips. One about his experience as a comic collector, and two is kind of the goods and the bads about being a collector, like the foibles that you'll run into. And he also finds it's basically like here are interesting things I found that nobody should have heard of, but they exist. Like there's quite a good interview with Joe Matt in here. This came out just before the pandemic. I think there's a second issue out. It's like he's the same guy who used to write and draw for Cinema Sewer, which was a really good bit better than a fanzine magazine about B movies and trash cinema. So there was a particularly good bit that I wanted to read out a bit from, and it was like the pitfalls. There's a thing called floppy flipping, which is when you're in a comic shop, you find a back issue, and you take the issue up to the counter, and then the person behind the counter realizes that the price should have been changed. So while you're there at the counter, they look online to see how much they should be charging you, and then they try and charge you that, which like 30 years of working in like comics retail, genuinely had never heard of that. I was like, who?
It's a recent thing because the market's changing so fast, but I think it's bullshit, and I will walk out in a second if someone pulls that crap on me.
Yeah, if that happened to me, I'd just walk out and never go to that shop again.
Absolutely.
If you've not got the time to go through your collection and go through your shop and correctly price them, it's not my job to pick out to shuffle through and pick out the ones you've offering up value, but for you to then reprice them when I take them up to the till.
Yeah, I shouldn't have to pay for your laziness.
No.
I mean, seriously.
Floppy jacking, apparently.
Floppy jacking.
Fluffy
Oh,
Jack.
look at the one on the left hand side. I have that.
Really? All right, Mom, plug your ears for this one. I thought floppy
can I read
jacking.
you?
I thought
So I
floppy
think it's worth
jacking was
defining
what
it
my
by his words. So like, if you look up Robin Boogie on Facebook, he's always got his stuff online. He's always pimping stuff. And you'll find him pimping his new comics and the various underground things. But this was what he wrote. What it is, floppy jacking is the act of repricing an already priced back issue of a comic book to a higher price when the customer brings it to the counter to pay for it. You have to define it because invariably, every single time the practice gets brought up, someone defends being able to raise the price on a comic from something other than cover price in their store or the store they pledge allegiance to. No one is saying you have to charge 50 cents for your 1975 copy of Giant Size X-Men because that's what it says on the cover. Who has ever argued that in the history of collecting? The argument is that comics ought to be simply charged for what you want to get for them and not altered at any point given that. But like, there's tons of awesome stuff in this magazine. I cannot recommend, especially for you guys and anyone who's interested in this show. Robin has pretty much encapsulated a lot of experiences we've all shared, but I don't think anyone's particularly had the wisdom to articulate.
There's literally none of those on UK eBay. What's the guy's name?
Robin Boogie, Bougie.
Okay, so
Oh,
what are
oh,
the chances of you getting him on here?
Yeah, they're my friend on Facebook, actually. I didn't realize they made comics
Well,
also. I love Robin.
He has drawn a cover featuring a friend of mine. So that's how I know him. So I ordered mine directly from him.
Oh,
so
wow.
Can you get him on the show? Can you get him on the show?
I can ask. The man is fairly shameless. He will happily pimp his materials, but I should warn you, some of his materials do have nipples in it. There's quite a lot of stuff.
We're good with that. We're good with that.
Okay.
Now, we've got somebody on the show who shall be nameless, who offered to get his arsehole waxed on on YouTube.
Here, you want to see?
Someone your name is
No.
Kyle every
Mark,
week.
Shut up! Shut up! Oh, please no. Oh, please no. Oh,
And
yeah.
there's
Oh,
our first
chest
YouTube.
hair.
Blow me up.
Woo,
Blow
not
me
my
up.
hair.
Blow me
Thank
up.
God.
Hey, I'm not showing my
I'm
ass.
playing you up.
Yeah, we don't need you to show your show off
No,
your
you're not.
full
Damn right.
Brazilian.
Is anybody watching
Your
the show
face
now?
holds
Is it literally just us talking to
My
each other?
mom's watching the show, and she needs to plug her ears because what was that called? The floppy jacking?
Yeah,
Floppy
jacking.
Floppy
Yeah.
jacking.
Sound like
Floppy
porn.
jacking.
It was
Because floppies are regular. Well, this is
Yeah.
a graphic novel.
Well,
Yeah.
But they're
floppy jacking is what my oncologist told me to do after they scoped me to get the blood out.
Wah, wah. Oh, there goes my
that
phone.
was a cringer.
You've literally just killed Bill's phone with that.
I know. Well, I hit too hard. I went, can't do it again. Put it upright, but thank you.
Come on, Graham. I showed pictures of that tumor. Flash that tumor picture up there for everybody.
Okay, before he flashes a tumor, I'm going to bring up another fucking comic.
Larry the tumor. I told you, Larry the tumor. Hey, did you guys listen to My Name is Larry? Did you guys listen? I sent a video to My Name is
Cut
Larry.
his mic! Cut his fucking mic!
Cut his fucking Sorry, Mom.
So we just have a Kyle mute button.
Kyle mute.
Every week on the show, I say words that no one should have to say. This is Albatross's Exploding Funny Books, an anthology by Eric Powell, who is genuinely, I think, one of the best comic creators working today.
The Goon guy?
For The Goon. Did you hear what Eddie Gein done? The graphic novel about Ed Gein. What else? Big Man Plans. The story about the Vietnam dwarf with the traumatic flashbacks. I think this is just before Albatross Press moved over to Dark Horse. But it's like his version of 8-Ball, almost. It's an anthology of different works by himself. Obviously, the best thing in it, for my money, because it is probably, for all my highbrow aspirations of Jodorowsky and Drew Lay and Mebius, I do like some zombies getting knifed in the eye, and Eric Powell does the best knifing in the eye and silly violence. So the main feature is a big goon story about a chap who has a psychic link with an evil duck. There's also a quite good parody of Conan called Lester of the Lesser Gods, who is,
Lester of the Lesser Gods. I need to get this stuff. This is great.
Basically, this is like the crap version of Conan, where his dad is a god, but he's quite embarrassed about him, and he's like, you can have the third best sword, and if you go away and fight monsters for a really long time and maybe don't come back to Valhalla forever, then you can have this sword. And his dad's trying to conduct this affair with this lass, but and she's getting involved while he's doing that. I vow to vanquish these monsters and stuff. And then she gets annoyed because the dad tries to give him a sacred duck, and she's like, "You're not having a duck." There is quite a duck prevalent theme in this comic. I like to think that's happenstance, and that Eric Powell, just like many good people, thinks that ducks are inherently funny, which is the correct thing to do. What else have we got? La 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 la. We have a short Hellbilly story, which is, I think it's the one that isn't done for the yucks and the laughs. It's
Hellbilly?
Hellbilly.
So is that like a hillbilly from hell?
Essentially.
Oh, I like that.
It's this whole Southern Gothic forest and and there will be great monsters, and a man with a beard will come forth and doth slay him to the face, mate. It's really good. That was a separate book from Albatross as well. There's also the opening shtick, which is a comic trailer for a movie that I hope doesn't exist. And if it doesn't exist, that's not a cue for you to make it, Kyle, called Terror Toilet, which is the story of a toilet that will kill you. There's also the really cool Il Diablo story, which is kind of his take on Mexican luchador violence culture, where the hero is a luchador and the villain is called the Vaccine, or God damn it, it's something like Vaccine and the Clean Vaccine. So basically, this dude has whacked most of her family, and she's like, I would be annoyed because you've killed my family, but they were crap, but I'm just going to get you because your reputation is better than mine. So this is just a big bundle of Eric Powell fun, and it's got a story in it. And basically, if you guys aren't reading The Goon, you're missing out on like one of the best regular comics. It's like when people say modern comics are rubbish, it's like, yes, because you haven't read The Goon. You just think that comics are like stuff that happened around 2001 and you're gauging it by that. It's the same argument I have with people who have a problem with the 90s comics, that they just think because the Avengers and the Fantastic Four were crap in the 90s, all comics were. It's like, no, lots of other good things were happening. Anyway, rant over. You should buy Albatross Exploding Funny Books #1.
So did you say there was Ed Gein
Please
art?
tell me somebody came up with something to talk about once I finish, because otherwise we're going to go back to Carl and his nipples, and I'm not ready for that. Nobody is.
Did you say there was an Ed Gein comic in that?
No, but
There's
I
a
do
book.
have the Ed Gein comic to hand. Give me a second.
I think I've got it on my bookshelf.
We're going to pull out Ed Gein books and let's see who has the most impressive one.
Okay.
Graham, are you enjoying this, being able to just sit back and relax, or do you just want to dive in?
Dun,
Oh,
dun,
look at that.
The
Where's
Rhino.
the Rhino.
Boom.
Where's the Rhino?
Dun, 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 dun. Oh, unexpected. Oh, it looks like you're
Oh, I
eating.
see what you did there, because it is actually unexpected.
It was. It was. It looked like he was eating you in a weird way.
Story of my life, mate. Strange men with beards trying to eat me on the internet.
Yeah.
So this by being by Eric Powell, you would expect all kinds of wacky hijinks, but it's not. It's really, really dark, really somber, and really good. It's got one of the best lines I think anybody has ever said about mental health. Like, so, I mean, also it looks like Eisner around. It kind of looks like Eisner's Drops the Avenue stuff.
Yeah.
Which is obviously one of the best compliments I think anyone can pay to any comic, because
Oh
that
yes.
stuff, you know,
Yes. I
Eisner
don't
literally
disagree.
wrote a comic about a lumberjack yard and made it interesting, which is not, I suspect, an easy thing to do. So this is a quote from a quote attributed to Alfred Hitchcock, talking about Psycho, which is obviously a movie inspired by Ed Gein, as was the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Mr. Hitchcock, what moral implications do you feel this movie has? I mean, what was your intent? And Hitchcock replies, there is no moral statement to be made. This is a film dealing with disturbed people, and you cannot apply morality to insane persons. Which is not a million miles away from the line from the really good Joker movie, where he says, you know, the problem with being mentally ill is that nobody wants you to be mentally ill. Which brings me to the
That's
next
great line.
I want to talk to you about. Joker 2 is going to be a musical.
With Lady Gaga as Harley Quinn.
How awesome is that?
Hey, I'll be there watching it.
Right?
Nevs, are you
Honestly, I
sitting
think that's
down,
great.
Nevs?
Am I what? Sorry?
Are you sitting down? Ready to blow
always-
me
I'm
up,
always
Gray?
sitting down,
And
but
no,
not
I'm not going to
releasing.
show my nipples.
I'm going to show my sack.
We're talking
Wait, what?
Ed Gein in comic books here.
Go for it.
I'm waiting for him to enlarge me.
What?
Dun 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 dun.
Weird trip.
Dun, dun.
Oh, here to join me
That's
for
William
some
Stout
fiddles.
cover. That's William Stout, isn't it?
Yeah,
Oh my
Billy
God.
boy, that's good.
Ed
Cool.
Gein.
Come on in for some
Weird
bills.
Trips #2, the story of Ed Gein.
Is that an underground or?
Yeah,
Yeah. Wasn't he also the impetus for Texas Chainsaw Massacre?
Yeah.
and then you mentioned it earlier, so I went and grabbed these since I have the first and second prints. And so nobody could read.
Stuff.
Beautiful. Yeah.
Oh wow.
I have the companion book to that. Just a second.
The first and second prints.
Whoa.
Nice big old book.
The companion.
There you go. So I went upstairs to grab those because he was talking about Ed Gein in comic books. So There you go. Blow him back up again. I ain't gonna show no more comic books.
The comparison is basically the scripts and the breakdowns and the conversations between Alan and Eddie Campbell. So, like, if you've read from Hal and you want to know more about it, everything is in this book. And, you know, Alan Moore's scripts are more entertaining than most drawn and finished comics.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I wanted to bring up the Joker 2 being a musical because I was thinking, I don't tend to think about the DC universe very much, right? But it seems to me that it's in this weird niche of not having its own identity. It tried to be Marvel, but it obviously tried to do that too quickly. And I think if they took the route of, I hate to say this because it shouldn't be an odd thing, but being more human with their movies. So instead of focusing on like getting the big 7 Justice League to fight the biggest baddie ever, they took an angle like the Superman's Pal Jimmy Olsen comics or the Bwahaha era of the Justice League, where they made these things about people who happen to be superheroes. And
Right.
The other
Joker 1 was exactly that. It was about an ordinary human being, wasn't it?
Yeah. Well, my biggest argument against the Joker has always been that Joker should not have been called Joker. Do you know what I mean? If you ripped out all of the Batman mythos, and I think we might have had this conversation last week, or I've had it with somebody last week. Anyway, you rip out all the Batman mythos of that movie and take away the DC iconography, it's just a really good story about a mental breakdown.
Yeah.
And I think
a remake of Falling Down with what's his face?
Very much so, Michael Douglas. Yes.
But hey, if
the comics industry, you know, like we deal with the repeated concepts all the time. It's like people who say, "Oh, The Boys is a knockoff of martial law." Well, then in that case, you might as well never have a guy in spandex ever again because it's a knockoff of Superman, right? So yeah, and there's no reason why you can't perpetuate ideas for different.
Everything was a knockoff of Superman. They all got sued and got stopped by national publishing.
But if you want to,
but if you think Captain Marvel was a ripoff of Superman, you're crazy. Not you.
I do, but I think it's a derailment too far. Everything is obviously derived from something, but you can certainly repeat themes and ideas and executions for different generations, which is why I think you say, like, you know, how many times have we seen the Waynes get murdered in the last 30 years, right? So that's obviously now passe. But if you go, we've got the same information, but we put it across via the form of a musical, or we've got these 7 superheroes, but we're mainly going to focus on the Martian Manhunter having an Oreo addiction or something like that. I think that might be the thing that draws people in, because DC certainly needs to have something that isn't just we have Marvel at home, which I think is what a lot of their movies are.
Well, I think Joker is actually not considered a DC. I mean, yes, it's a DC movie based on one of their properties, but it's outside the realm because it's using people that are not doing superhero movies. They're trying to be the next Scorsese. They're not trying to be like. There's a lot of elements of Taxi Driver in the Joker.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
You know, and so
comedy, obviously,
and so. Basically, they've left the Joker alone. It's not going to be touched by Gunn and the other guy that's running things now with him. And I think that's fine, because the Joker to me was not a DC movie. It was something way bigger and way better. I mean, I think.
For me, it's the best DC movie.
Yes, yeah. If you put that brand on it, absolutely. And it wins hands down.
Yeah,
you know, it's up there with the original first 2 Superman movies, I think.
Yeah,
except you really can't compare the two. I shouldn't even.
I know
really
you're
go
getting
there.
it, just in the level of quality, not necessarily.
Yeah.
Okay,
does anyone else think that?
I've got
Does anyone
some
else
stuff
think
to
that
show you.
Bill's?
So again, Gray, you cut out. Don't focus on me. I was listening to Gray.
Go Gray. Go Gray. Go Mark. Go Mark.
Go Mark.
Right. Okay. Sorry. So I just went over to find my Eddie Gein book, but it must be in the other library. So I picked up some books from my shelf. So I'll be interested. There's 3 books here. Which is your favourite? Okay.
Okay.
The first is Alan Moore and Melinda Gebbie, who Melinda Gebbie is Alan Moore's missus. And they did this magnificent opus that took ages called Lost Girls. Are you familiar with this?
Absolutely.
It was a TV series. I didn't realize that came from
No,
Alan Moore.
no. This
It
was
was
not
originally
a TV series.
serialized into Do by Stephen Bissett.
Similar name, maybe, but it's not.
Oh, it's
This
not?
is not-
Okay, I'm sorry. Sorry, Alan.
I
This
don't
is-
think you should go too far into the description on this show without us being hit by a YouTube
Hardcore
strike.
pornography.
So it takes Alice from Alice in Wonderland, the girl from Wizard of Oz,
Dorothy.
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 Dorothy, and who's the
Wendy? Is Wendy
Yeah.
in there?
other- Wendy's in here, yeah.
Woo! You could have
And
Lost
they
Girls
go on a
about her.
series of what shall I say, exotic and erotic adventures throughout time.
Good phrase.
I mean, the
The
artwork.
Daily Mail got annoyed about it. So
I
that
can't
tells
show you. I
quite-
can't show you too much of this because virtually every page.
Dirty old man.
What was that? What was that?
Did you just
It's like we got preempted by
Yeah,
Dark
this is-
Shadows.
This is the best show I've ever seen.
It is a great show. I love this show.
Oh, that's
Anyway,
what
It's my
yeah.
favorite podcast.
Well, show some of the art, you dirty old man.
Why are there stains on the cover? I'm kidding.
I mean, it really is a dirty book. But it absolutely is. Alan Moore is best, and he's working with his missus.
Hey.
It's great. I mean, it took them ages to produce this.
Honest question, Mark.
What?
If you submit that to CGC, how many points do they take off and knock down if the pages are stuck together?
Yeah. No comment. Right.
Hi, Bill.
Next up,
I don't have a basement; it's a garage.
your second choice, if you didn't like
Yeah.
that one, is the SpongeBob Comics Treasure Chest. This is a fantastic book. So
I
it
can't
comes
wait
in
to see what the link is here.
There isn't any link. I'm just asking you which you prefer. Right.
Oh,
So
okay. I thought it was related to Ed Gein in some way.
No, I couldn't find Ed Gein. So he
Well,
was-
Patrick is Ed Gein in
Patrick,
the whole mythos of.
Patrick is a Starro, by the way. So you do.
He is a Starro. Yeah.
The connection between those two books is Mark had to get a sponge out to wipe down the Lost Girl.
Yeah, here I
Yeah,
go.
me and SpongeBob have a special relationship.
I'm cleaning. I'm
And
cleaning them
inside
up.
this, you get a reprint of SpongeBob 1, and you get a whole load of great SpongeBob stories. So there you go. That's your second choice.
That's amazing. That I actually would buy that.
You
The
think you would. Who would not
diversity
buy
between
that?
the choices so much. Oh,
So that's
Okay.
SpongeBob Comics Treasure Chest.
I love
And your
that.
third choice is Claremont and John Bolton working together on Miranda She-Wolf.
Oh my God!
This is a beauty. I'm a big John Bolton fan. He's one of my
Is
favorites.
Murata a Marvel property?
I think so. I mean, look at the artwork here by John.
Oh
Bolton.
my God!
Oh, yeah.
Incredible.
He's
Oh, he did
fantastic.
the Army of Darkness movie adaptation for Dark Horse, which is beautiful, you know?
Yeah, John Bolton. I've got some John Bolton original artwork. He's one of my favorite artists.
Do you really? That's amazing.
I just had a big wind blow through and knocked out my internet for a minute.
Oh.
I mean, just look at the artwork here. For,
Look at the
this.
art on that.
Just incredible.
So it's not actually a graphic novel. It's just like some individual artwork. It's
No,
not
no,
actually
this is a novel. This is a story of.
Oh, there's a comic. Oh,
Yeah. No, I mean, just look at the detail. I mean, this is typical John Bolton. You know,
Oh, he's so good.
unbelievable detail.
Oh yeah.
And
Yeah, thinking I got girls in my basement. Come on now, just because my wife has Stockholm syndrome doesn't mean I keep women locked up here.
you know, it's just absolutely glorious.
That
So
is
if you look-
beautiful.
Yeah.
We need to get Bolton on the show here.
Bolton, I mean, he's quite reclusive. I don't know if you've seen that Neil Gaiman did a little movie called The Strange World of John Bolton or something like that. I don't know if you've seen it. You can get it on YouTube, and it's Neil Gaiman wrote it, and it's got a British sort of comedy actor goes and interviews John Bolton, and you know he's famous for, I'm going to have to edit this. He's famous for the scantily clad vampires.
Yeah.
And
Who was the actor?
Sorry?
Who was the actor?
He's the British actor. He does. What's his name? He's got a beard. He does Just a Minute. Brigstock.
Okay.
Marcus Brigstock.
Marcus Brigstock. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Marcus Brigstock does the sort of narrating, and he's sort of talking to John Bolton, who's just sort of. It isn't John Bolton. It's somebody playing John Bolton, but he's sort of taciturn artist who basically this guy's going, where do you get your inspiration for all these vampire women, and this guy goes, well, they just come and see me and I paint them.
Good answer.
That's speaking of Neil,
and the interviewer just thinks this is strange, and then of course the vampire women appear and kill Marcus Brigstock. So it's really good.
John Bolton means something else in the U.S. We have this guy who was I think he was the Secretary of State for a short period of time under Trump. Yeah. And he's a horrible human being. Yeah. I mean, even his family says so. Oh. And every time people bring up John Bolton, they think you're talking about that guy. Yeah. He has a mustache that looks like this.
Oh, okay.
And, he's a piece of what.
Oh no, go check his website out. He's got his own website. He's got some of his art on there, which is great. And you can buy you can buy his original art. I bought an original piece from his wife. Does his? I dealt with his wife. And you can go. There's no prices on there.
So dealt with his wife. I dealt with her.
Hey, Mark, send me the link to how to get in touch. Send me the link to his thing, and I'll get in touch.
I mean, it's just worth looking at because the art is incredible. And so I bought a piece off from her a couple of years ago, and I also bought a piece from him at a Comic-Con and in the 90s, and it's the cover to Books of Magic. You know the Books of Magic series?
Yeah. The origin of Harry Potter.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, basically, I think she totally stole it from that. That kid is Harry Potter.
She did.
Sorry.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
But speaking of Neil,
Trev,
he's back over on you guys' side of the pond because they another property's getting filmed, so he's off his book tour, but he's in the UK now, and they're filming, so they can't announce yet. So.
Right, guys, so you have to pick now. So do you prefer if you could have one of these, which you can only have one, which you're going to have Mirada the She-Wolf, SpongeBob, or Alan Moore's Lost Girls? So, Nev, you're going to pick first.
Okay, if I'm going first, I'll tell you what, pick me last if I have a link.
Oh, okay. Bill, which would you pick first?
I would probably pick the Mirada the She-Wolf. Yeah. Although my second close choice would be SpongeBob. I do love SpongeBob, I have to admit.
Yeah.
But in fact, Steven Hillenburg came from San Antonio. So I even have that going for me. So, but many rest in peace. But, I think the Mirada stuff's beautiful.
It is incredible. Yeah.
It really. Kyle?
Is that a compendium of all the SpongeBob books or something?
No, it's just, it is a compendium of books, but it's not any specific.
So Hillary's not in there?
He might be, actually. He might well be in here.
If Hill's in there, I'm going to take the diplomatic route and say I'd take that all day long because of Hill.
Yeah.
If not, I'd obviously take Lost Girls.
Yeah.
But
yeah, you can mess with the pages I haven't messed with, Kyle.
Okay. Yeah.
Gray, are you with us?
Yeah, hopefully. I don't know. I'm never too sure if people can hear me or not. I'll go
Yeah, we
for the
can now.
Morado as well.
Yeah. Okay. And Nev?
So, only because I already have Lost Girls, because I was working at the comic shop that did the big Lost Girls signing, and man, that's a whole show, that signing, which we will get to because it is a collection of stories. But the essence of it, in relation to this, I have Lost Girls, so it would take SpongeBob. And speaking of SpongeBob and other animated characters, this week at the Comics Library, what I run in Oxfam and Elsfield, somebody donated some comics, and one of them was a comic I haven't read. Cut to me.
Cut to me. Darkwing Duck. What the
Darkwing Duck? This is really, really good. I'm a big fan of Darkwing Duck anyway, right? I have said frequently that the straights like Batman and the Drakes like Darkwing Duck. And if you don't get that, I'm sorry, but you should go and watch Crybaby. It is one of the best musicals with Tracy Lords and Iggy Pop you will ever see. Anyway, Darkwing Duck is the adventures of Darkwing Duck, the rich duck who is parody of Batman. And this particular issue, because one of the things
and the Shadow.
Sorry? And the Shadow.
A parody of the Shadow.
Right. I've never made that connection before, but you are pow.
Oh, yeah.
Bit bang. So in this issue, Darkwing and his pals and gals go to, and this is always my favorite type of comic story, a comic convention. And it's really good. It's really weird when you see comics about comic conventions that aren't by Sergio Aragones, because that guy, does the best crowd scenes in comics. There's no question. I think Sergio, except for the late great George Perez, Sergio nails it. Like, if you ever seen one of his things, every single bit of it is a story in itself. So, the big bad shows up, obviously, and utters the classic and beautiful line. And I'm going to just take a second to give it a bit of space, because I might even rip the audio from this and play it at the next convention I go to. What is this? A comic book convention? Ugh, how plebeian. I'd almost rather be dead. So if anyone wants to screen grab that, I have already put it up on Instagram, but it is that panel. So anyway.
What character is that?
This is Splatter Phoenix.
Splatter Phoenix?
Splatter Phoenix. So, being that they go to a comic convention, guess what they do? They go through various comic conventions. And the first one is a parody of our favorite extreme artist, Mr. Rob Liefeld, where Darkwing Duck has a cybernetic eye and a big robot arm. I keep on doing this left to right thing badly.
Yeah, you're no good at
You can't see his feet.
So say what he has again.
So he's got a cybernetic arm and he's got the glowing eye and
no feet.
No,
Right.
well, to preempt
Rob
what
Liefeld.
Mark has
Come on.
said, the punchline in the second panel is, well, Darkwing Duck says, oh, well, when the writing is going to be incomprehensible anyway, walk softly and fire a big cannon. And his companion says, how do you walk with no feet?
What? Oh my God! I was just joking. Oh my God, that's great. Oh, look at those little weird feet.
Darkwing Duck, like the least offensive property. But anyway, so it goes through various art styles. But the Rob Liefeld one really threw me because, like, of all the places, and then you get the various adverts in history.
Nev, is this a new one? Is this part of
No,
the
this is pretty old. This is the advantage of being out of touch with it and getting stuff through donations, is that I get to go through stuff and go, oh, I didn't know this existed. This is from November 2016, and it's published by Joe Books Limited. It's issue 6.
Wow. Never knew it existed.
No, me neither. Like,
I am the terror that flaps in the night.
and don't forget his tagline, let's get dangerous. I love that. I actually like that series a lot.
Hey, this is one for Comic Mag Musings.
So yeah, that I will cut off from that. But honestly, I was genuinely.
I love that. That's fantastic.
And the other thing I wanted to talk about, and I don't have them to hand. So I try to vaguely keep in touch with modern comics because obviously it's my job. So somebody donated the issues 15 to 17 of the most recent run of Amazing Spider-Man. The ones featuring Ben Reilly as Chasm. Have any of you guys read them?
No.
Okay, so my first
really
thing is to highly recommend them because they are drawn by Ed McGuinness, who I think is like one of the great superhero artists of our time. Done like amazing stuff on World War Hulk and Deadpool, and he's drawn this, and I think he's the regular artist. I wouldn't swear to it. However, like it's a gorgeous comic, and the only thing I ever ask of any comic, whatever the genre, whoever it's aimed at, is whatever issue number it is, I want to pick it up and get a story. And even if it's part of a bigger story, I want to either have a sense of closure when I finish the thing, or be so intrigued that I want to read the next bit. That's all I think. I think that's what you're doing. Because one of the few things I would have agree with Jim Shooter on is you have to work on the presumption that every issue is somebody's first issue, right?
Right.
So, Amazing Spider-Man 15, to me, like, I will probably have a vague idea, but if it's indecipherable to me, someone who's literally the first comic they ever read was the death of Gwen Stacy and Norman Osborn, then there's a bit of a problem.
Right.
Now, that's what bugged me about it, because it was kind of a clear story. It's basically Ben Reilly is annoyed at Peter Parker, so he's trying to send him to another reality, right? And that much I got, and Venom was involved, and Ed McGuinness draws a very cool Venom, and that forgives a lot of sins. I'm like, okay, I sort of get this, but it suffered from the most Marvel and DC problem ever, which was every 3 pages a new scene would start, and it would be like, here are 2 new characters, and you'd be like, what's going on? And then there would be a footnote saying, to see what happens with these characters, read this comic. I'm like,
Yeah.
right. Why don't you just put these pages in that comic, and then I can carry on reading the comic I'm getting? And they were okay, but it wasn't just the footnoteness, because that does bug me, but it was the assumption. Do you mean the assumption that what's going on in this comic is so good that you will just go out and buy the other ones? I'm like, don't be that presumptuous.
Yeah.
I mean, like, you have to provide a full unit of entertainment in the comic, I think. And I'll be honest with you, the thing that really threw me, because I'm like, I wouldn't have spent 15 quid on these comics. You know what I mean? They're not that good. Like, the price of comics is way more than the value of the entertainment you're getting these days, I think.
Amen.
But
That's why I stopped buying.
I was reading the letters page, right? And this is such an idiosyncratic thing. And it was the moment that made me go, do you know what, I'm out. Is when one of the readers had written into the letters page and said, so I'm really enjoying the book.
Letters page.
When did Ned Leeds return? I was like, what? Ned Leeds is back. Now, it's their stuff, right? It's their property, and I have no skin in the game except this. If you resurrect every character, if you bring them back to life in some way, whether it's a smart way or whatever, then there is no point reading anything that has claim to have significance, because that significance will be undone. As far as I was aware, Ned Leeds was one of the very few members of the Spider-Man cast who hasn't been resurrected, except for Uncle Ben, obviously. And you just get a kind of like, well, then, if your big spike is, and this issue, this person dies, and that's meant to be quite a big deal, and you say, but the possibility is that they'll come back for whatever reason, then why invest in any of it? And that was the thing that reminded me why I stopped reading all this stuff in the first place. The initial reason was at the end of Age of Apocalypse back in 1994, which I was really into, and I was really into the whole, like, we're getting rid of everything, and this is the new X-Men universe after Professor X is killed by Legion. Actually, then we wrap it all up in one issue, and then everything's gone. I'm like, when I could have not bought the last 4 months worth of comics and got to the same point, and that was when I was done. And that was 1994, 95 or something. And it's like this. You drop back in and go, I wonder what's going on. And that's why I don't want to carry on. And I realize, I shouldn't be the target audience for superhero comics, but I suspect I am. And that's the problem.
I agree.
There's a few issues here.
Go for it.
First is who are comic books for?
Well, that shouldn't be one answer, should it? That's like saying who are books for.
Okay. Well, when you're looking at a specific, who is Amazing Spider-Man for? You know, is it for 45 to 65-year-old old art?
Well, it shouldn't be.
Well, that encapsulates all of us.
Yeah, exactly.
Everyone except you, Bill.
Well, I'm eternally young.
It's the people who.
I may be the oldest person in this
People
group. I don't
interested
even know.
in old
Yeah.
stories.
Because for me, some of these histories get too complicated, don't they? You know, if you've been doing Spider-Man for 60, when did it start? 63, so it's been going for 60 years nearly.
62.
Yeah.
May of 1962, same cover date.
So
as
61 years. 61 years.
And you're trying to keep the continuity of everybody you've killed, everybody you haven't killed, and trying to make everything work and fit together is almost impossible. You know, so not just reset. You know, go for a new generation. Yes, the old farts will be upset because Ned Leeds died 10 years ago and now he's back again. But now we've got Spider-Man's best friend back again. I don't know.
But Ned Leeds was never Spider-Man's best friend in the comics, yet he's his best friend in the MCU.
Yeah, okay, his best friend.
And
The majority of the younger people know him from the MCU. When I went to see Spider-Man No Way Home with my two daughters who were in their mid-20s, they loved Ned Leeds. They were going, "Oh, we really like this character." I said, "Unfortunately, he's going to become a supervillain and get killed." And they went, "What?" They sort of their mind was blown away, you know.
And well, now he's completely forgone that, and now he's going to be a Sorcerer Supreme or under Sorcerer Supreme. So
Ned Leeds is going to be the understudy for Doctor Strange.
Right.
Yeah.
What did I just say? That can't be right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Well, Wong says he has the top.
He has the gifts. Hey, Graham, blow me up real quick though. I need to do something for Comic Mag Musings here.
But the other thing I'd
fits
say
right in with the
Hold on. Let Mark make the point.
So there's new superheroes. Invincible is a new superhero. Great comic, great character, great TV series.
Yep.
It's a superhero for the current day.
Yes.
I really like Invincible. Miracle Man is got a second wind of life. I don't know if you've read the latest Miracle Man stuff. It's great.
Well, he's Marvel Man again.
Yeah, he's Marvel Man again. Sorry.
Wait,
so stupid.
I haven't read issue 4 yet, but what?
Huh?
Yeah.
I haven't read issue 4. I've just read issue 3 today. Did you say?
Okay, I've read issues through to 4. Yeah.
This is an A-OK Graham request.
Mike Moran is now known as Marvel Man.
That's what I understand. That Marvel is going to do that.
Then
are they changing him to Marvel Man?
That's what I've heard. That is what I've heard.
Why?
And well, if you look, Marvel bought the character outright.
They bought both. They got
sort of, but yeah,
Miracle Man, Marvel Man. They got a lot. Yeah.
Right. And so they're going with the Marvel because they want to push the Marvel. And something tells me there's already something in the works with the MCU.
Right.
But
well, I read a story. Hang on. I read a story back in the day when Des Skin, who owned the stuff done by Alan Moore. So he owned Marvel Man.
He did?
He did.
Did? I didn't know that.
Yeah. Because Alan Moore wrote for Warrior magazine.
Right.
And that's where Marvel Man. So it was originally for Al Miller and Son, but then it was recreated by Alan Moore.
It was the stuff that was the Captain Marvel reprints in the UK,
right.
And then they couldn't use Captain Marvel, so it became Marvel Man, and that's the character that becomes the stuff of the revival by Alan Moore for Warrior.
Anyway, Des fell out with Alan Moore over money. And then he went to try and sell the property in the States, and he went to Jim Shooter at Marvel And he said, "Do you want Marvel Man?" And Jim Shooter says, "No way. We can't have a character who's named after the company because it would just represent. We don't want a character who's done all these awful things, named after the company. How can that possibly be? If you go and check the story, Marvel Man has not been, the most clean character of history. We can't have him being named after the company. It's like if you called somebody DC Man." So Jim Shooter turned down the opportunity to have Marvel Man, and that's why he ended up with Eclipse. So I cannot believe that Marvel are going to choose to change Miracle Man, which doesn't have that, connotation of this represents the company, because if you change him to Marvel Man, isn't more important than Spider-Man to Marvel. I mean, that's crazy. I cannot believe they're going to change it from Miracle Man to Marvel Man.
Okay, it's what I've heard. I mean, it may not make any sense, but it may make Disney sense if you think about it.
Yeah. So there's a story.
There's Disney Man coming out also, Mark. I don't know if you
This is all. So essentially, from what I understand, and this is partly knowing some of the people involved and partly hearsay, so take all of this with all the salt you want. This was all meant to have happened quite a few years ago. And Marvel Man was meant... Okay, for the sake of clarity, right, I'm just going to call him Miracle Man. Miracle Man was meant to be the surprise villain in a Marvel crossover called, I think it's Siege, right? In the opening of Siege, the Sentry gets taken out very early on. He's removed from the story. And what was meant to happen when Norman Osborn was in charge of S.H.I.E.L.D. was his secret weapon was going to be Miracle Man. And because, right, I'm going to try and tell this without revealing too many things because I'm sworn to secrecy over some of it. The purchase of Miracle Man by Marvel was not a absolute buyout when they launched the big plans. There were elements that they did not own entirely, which is what delayed quite a few things, which is why they started the reprints with the Mick Anglo stuff rather than going straight to the Alan Moore stuff, because there were elements in the Alan Moore stuff that they were not entirely clear to reprint.
Okay. They might have owned Miracle Man, but they might not have owned
let's not get into the thing I think you've just worked out.
Yeah.
Because. So when we get to the end of Siege, Miracle Man isn't the big reveal. It's a Sentry instead, which doesn't make a lot of sense unless you understand that the Sentry has essentially always been Paul Jenkins' fan fiction of Miracle Man anyway. That happened to be at Marvel. So that reveal in Siege was going to lead to the reprints, which once we got to the end of the game and stuff would have seen Miracle Man incorporated into the Marvel universe. But obviously a great many things have had to happen. And as with everything that always happens with Marvel Man, something got complicated. You know what I mean? Like, it just happens wherever it goes.
Oh, legal problems right round.
Ripped imaging in pieces because the introduction of Miracle Man into the formula meant that Neil Gaiman ended up with Angela being taken to Marvel, and with Todd McFarlane buying Eclipse, which was like...
that's why he disappeared for 20 years, because Todd McFarlane thought he owned Miracle Man because he bought Eclipse, but Eclipse didn't own Miracle Man.
Right.
Yeah.
So, right. That's why Neil Gaiman and Todd McFarlane ended up in court.
Well, it was also Gaiman not being paid for various royalties on
exactly
stuff for Angela. But yeah, Miracle Man was
Angela and the rights to Angela and all sorts of stuff. But
I understand it was meant to be a basically quid pro, like you can have all of Angela, just give me Miracle Man entirely. But then it turned out Todd actually didn't have it, and the portfolio that would have been Eclipse actually wasn't very much, because quite a lot of Eclipse's stuff was licensed stuff.
Yeah.
And I just want to say one thing to what Mark said a minute ago about Jim Starlin. Jim Shooter. It's funny, he would say we can't have a character named Marvel Man, yet they have Captain Marvel, Ms. Marvel, and Marvel Girl. And I mean,
Marvel Boy, who became Crusader, who became
right, Marvel Boy, So, and who was Marvel Man for a short period of time during Jim Shooter's tenure, I might add.
Well, that's what he told
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is true. This is quoted in an issue of Warrior.
Yeah,
Mark's
it is.
absolutely
Yeah,
right.
That sounds like a tall
So-
tale.
I got a question for
Jim
you,
Shooter
British
6'11".
guys.
That's why, or 6'10",
Well, Des
whatever. That's why I
told the
said that.
story, so you take that out as you want.
I got a big question for you guys on you British guys over Miracle Man.
Dinner
No, we're
time.
not happy
So
about
I knew they came up with a Miracle Boy too, right? There was like a Miracle Man Jr.
There's
No,
Young
in the
Marvel
UK,
Man,
Boy.
it
there's
was
Young
Marvel
Marvel Man,
Man.
and there's Kid Marvel Man. Yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
just trying
Marvel
to figure
Man,
out.
Young Marvel Man, and Kid Marvel Man.
But
they
there was
ran-
no Kid Miracle Man.
Johnny
Well, there
Bates.
was.
Yeah. Johnny
There was
Bates is
Kid
big
Miracle.
bad.
I'm just wondering. I mean, I'm going a long way to make a Miracle Whip joke here, and I've already.
Oh,
I was gonna make a Miracle Whip joke and make a
send that man to the Mayo Clinic.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Your punishment is that you have to be the next person to publish Miracle Man and see what happens.
There you go.
Yeah, but at the moment, you've
Now-
read issue 1 to 3 and issue 4. It's in a completely different universe. It's not connected to the Marvel universe whatsoever.
No, it's not. But there was a Marvel Man Zero or something like that preceded the first Silver Age, and there's quite a few short stories which do seem to be a kind of Marvel Man isn't part of the Marvel universe yet, but if he did, it might look a bit like that. It almost seemed like tryouts. You know what I mean? It's like give us a 6-page Miracle Man story set in the Marvel
Yeah,
universe.
well, there's these
That's what that
strange
comic seems
aliens.
to be.
There's these strange aliens, aren't there?
Yeah.
You've got strange aliens over them, and maybe I don't know. Who knows?
Well, it's the same format as that Miracle Man Apocrypha miniseries that Eclipse were doing when Miracle Man was running late. It's like here's 3 pages by Gaiman and Bucky, and then here's Mike Deodato Jr. or Kelly Jones or whatever. You know?
Yeah.
And here's something by Mike Angelo, which I always thought that was the funniest name. Mick Angelo, I'm sorry.
Mick Anglo.
Mick Anglo,
Yeah, because I always thought that was a knock on Michelangelo. And here's 300 years later, or 400 years
Well,
later.
he's the guy. He's the guy.
He's right.
When all these lawsuits were going on between Todd McFarlane, Neil Gaiman, eventually they decided that Miracle Man, / Marvel Man, was owned by Mick Anglo.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And at the time,
it's Mick Anglo. It's not even Angelo. It's Mick Anglo.
Mick Anglo.
It is. Yeah, we were just being too.
Oh, so
polite.
that's not even.
Bill. Bill, it was a good joke, and we weren't going to ruin it. So
No. That's not what. No, no. But how Anglo can you get an Anglo? I'm just saying. How did I miss that?
So it gets even more interesting. So he was about 90. He was about 90 when they decided that he owned the rights to Miracle Man and Marvel Man. And then Marvel went over and obviously schmoozed him. And what's his name? Joe Quesada went over and interviewed him, and they paid him lots of money for the rights when he was about 88 or 90 or something.
Yeah.
Which is great. I mean, that's the right place for it to have gone, isn't it? You know,
absolutely.
The little guy in me said, I don't want it to be any of these big corporations. I want it to be, this small, independent British comic guy who lives in a house in Croydon, and he's got Joe Quesada coming in for tea. It's a great story, and Mick Anglo.
That's another one I need to do. I need to pull a few strings and get Des to be on a show or two here for this.
I want to picture Stan Lee shaking Mick's hand,
Yeah.
and like they're both old at the time.
Nevs, you want to just get in touch with him? Des will
What's really interesting, and I bet none of you guys know this. Okay? Mick Anglo in the 1960s was contacted by a Spanish comic producer who said, we would quite like a Marvel Man for the Spanish market. So remember, Marvel Man was being produced in the UK.
Correct. Right.
Do you know what he called the character for the Spanish comics?
I remember you showing
Miracle Man. So Miracle Man #1 is actually from Mick Anglo, and it was produced for the Spanish comic market.
Sure, it should have been Miracle Hombre, shouldn't
Yeah, I
it?
know. Yeah, no, it is. It's called something like that. It's called Hombre or something.
Oh, okay. So did Alan Moore and the guys that were working on it back then, Neil Gaiman, did they know this?
Yeah. So Alan Moore's quite a comic geek, right? So
Right.
he knew he'd been, when he went on holiday, British holiday to Yarmouth, he would get copies of these sort of Al Miller's son Marvel Mans and so on and so forth. And he always thought when he went that he said, when he was 12, he picked up copies of these, and he picked up copies of Superman, and he said, "Oh, I'd love to do something, with these characters." And 30 odd years later, or 20 odd years later, he got the opportunity because they came to him and said, "Do you want to do this?" But yeah, he read those. He read them when he went, picked them up to read on holiday at the Seaside Resort in Yarmouth. Yeah,
that is amazing to me. Did you know any of this, Nevs?
Nevs
I'm
did.
a big Mooreophile, I guess is the phrase.
Oh, so you knew about the Miracle Man in Spain?
I didn't know about the Miracle Man in Spain thing.
Oh, no, that's what I know.
I will bring a copy of the Spanish Miracle Man.
Please do.
Next week. I've never seen another one. And when I found it, I thought, what the hell's this?
The only reason it occurred to me is I thought Ty Templeton should draw El Hombre Miraculo. Did you see the Ty Templeton cartoon strips in the Miracle Man thing?
Yeah, I remember those.
They were amazing. He did perfect parodies, but they're about he did.
I did see those.
Matt Groening's Life is Hell thing, and Little Nemo and Slumberland versions of Miracle Man, which
That's
were
right.
as far as I'm concerned, and I'm going to be a purist about this. Once the Gaiman story is over, that should be it, right? It should be a finite story. I don't want to be alive in 5 years to see Miracle Man teaming up with the Avengers. That's not what the character was designed for.
Sorry.
I know,
that's what's
I'm
going to
live
happen.
to see Miracle Man in Fortnite.
And you know it.
Fortnite Miracle Man skin. It will happen.
You know it.
You see, in my ideal, I'm an idealist, and in my ideal world, it doesn't happen.
If anybody in the chat ever wonders,
hello, Greg.
And carry on talking for but I'm going to go and eat my dinner. Go cook my dinner and eat it. If you guys want to hang around and chat, I'll be back in 20 minutes.
We'll wrap things up for you. We're having fun tonight. We'll wrap it up.
We've laid siege, and as with everything, once we brought up Miracle Man, things just start falling apart.
Yeah.
You carry on chatting. I'm going to food.
If anybody,
this is the first time Mark has hung around afterwards, so this really is something
that Miracle Man and Alan Moore, and that keeps me interested. So, just on that, so what I would hope happens, they're going to finish this arc about young Miracle Man. It's not going to end well, is it? Anyway,
no. Even just by reading issue 3, this is clearly going to be quite bad.
He's going to blow up the world.
I'm not sure about that. That's too like the other one.
That's the old joke about Alan Moore's ending. Is I haven't got an ending to the story. Something blows up at the end.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Neil Gaiman's more imaginative than that. So I think Dickie Dauntless could be. I think he's a really interesting character. I love the way he talks as if he was from 1960s Blighty.
Wait. Dickie Dauntless was a real character, wasn't he?
Dickie Dauntless is young Marvel Man. Young Miracle.
Oh, that's right. Okay,
it's riffing on the British cartoon strip thing of having alliterative names like Desperate Dan or things like that. So Dickie Dauntless, Dan Dare, all that kind of malarkey.
But in Q4, we're told his real name isn't Dickie Dauntless, so we might be able to. Anyway, so it's getting interesting. What in my ideal world, what happens is this arc finishes now, and we get another arc in the same series by Gaiman, maybe art by Buckingham. I love the Buckingham art, but not what I do not want to happen is what you just said, where we end up with some Marvel universe plot where Miracle Man appears and fights Warlock, or I don't know.
Yeah, because that was as soon as I read Age of Ultron, where the big reveal was the final issue, and then Angela. As soon as I saw that, I went, they're going to do that with Marvel Man, aren't they?
Well,
I'd be like Marvel Man versus Thanos or something.
My miracle, my death.
my faith here.
This be my miracle.
My faith here is in Neil Gaiman. Neil Gaiman
If this be my death.
Neil Gaiman is always true to the original material. If you look at the Sandman adaptation, the fact that he was involved in the adaptation meant that it was really good. And I don't think he's going to allow them to fuck up the Miracle Man stuff.
Yeah.
I do wonder how removed he is from it, though. Because, you know,
He's writing it.
I don't think it's any great secret now. The great weight on these issues has not been anything to do with Neil. It's been Mark Buckingham for various reasons, like he's wanted to redraw the artwork.
The artwork stuff is brilliant. I mean, yes, you're right.
But that's been the main cause of the delay, right? So all of this stuff is presumably written, at least half of it is written last century, literally. Yeah, this is quite a lot of it was the Eclipse one. So you sort of wonder, okay, how passionate is he going to be about this series, which is clearly probably more trouble than it's actually worth? And what point do you just go, do you know what? You've got all the scripts. Bucky will turn the stuff in as and when he does. Turn Miracle Man into a Funko. I don't care. I'm not saying he will do that. I'm just saying there must be a point where, because he's so prolific.
Have you watched the YouTube video where he talks about Alan Moore's work on it? He likes the material. He really respects the original material. I think he's invested in it. I think he's you know, the fact that he's worked with Mark Buckingham. I agree with you. Mark Buckingham, I think, is probably the key guy behind this, because the artwork stuff is incredible. I mean, and I would say one of the things, I did a video on this, and one of the things I think I said was, you know, this has been 30 years. So Neil Gaiman should have got 30 years better at writing stories, and Mark Buckingham should have got 30 years better at doing art. And I think he has. You know, Mark Buckingham's art here is killer.
So can I tell my story real quick?
Tell your story, Bill.
Okay, so in 2013, 2014, David Lloyd is interested in, and he's still interested in, doing a series that myself and my friend Pete Coogan have come up on, based on Odd John, called The Odd Men. And it brings in Spring-Heeled Jack. It brings in all these characters from that basically became the characters we know today as Superman, Bat, all that. So he introduces me to this friend of his, and he says, "This is my friend Mark, and he's in the comics industry too." And I go, "Oh, really? Have you done anything I've ever heard of?" And he goes, "Well, I'm working on Fables, right?" And I'm like, "Okay, someone's pulling a joke on me." I had no idea this is, and I had to go look up his name. Oh, it's Mark Birmingham. And I'm like freaking out because I'd been a fan of his for a long time. We wind up all drinking together that night. And by the end of the night, I'm best friends with them, and we're having a great time. But I could not believe, I go, "I knew who you were. I didn't mean it like that. I didn't hear your last name until afterwards." And he goes, "Oh, it's no problem, really." And he was the nicest guy in the world. And David Lloyd was laughing at me because he thought it was hilarious. He goes, "You're the first person that's asked at this convention." Apparently it happened all the time, and he would pull that. And Mark Wheatley came up to me, and Mark Wheatley goes, "Hey, don't worry. I had to look him up too." And it's Mark Wheatley saying this. So I didn't feel so bad, but man, that David Lloyd, I stupidly said, "Oh, I've got this drink. Don't worry about it." Well, David Lloyd orders.
Did you say I've got this drink to David Lloyd?
Huh?
Did you say I've got this drink to David Lloyd?
Yeah. I've got this one. Don't worry about it. Well, he's drinking $30 scotch. And so here's Bill, but I couldn't say anything because I meant what I said. I had no idea he was going to get $30 scotch, but everybody else's drinks were like $10 or whatever. And then So I get the tab and I'm going, how can I have spent $96 on one round of drinks for 6 people? And I'm looking and I see the scotch he got was like 30-year-old scotch. And it's like, oh, I guess I have to pay $30 for $1 for every year. But it was so funny because I wasn't upset about it. It was more,
No, I can tell, Bill.
on me.
It didn't worry you at all. It left your memory immediately. You never
thought
thought
about
about
it,
it again.
No, well, yeah, and here I am retelling it for the 100th time. But it was more like I would easily pay more than $30 to be able to tell this story as many times because it's a great story. But David Lloyd, I'm going to tell you this, and you probably already know this, Mark, and you too. But he's one of the nicest, most down to earth people, and I've ever met. He's just, I mean, he knows how to drink, but besides that, he's extremely accessible and down to earth. But I love the guy. I think he's great.
If you've ever seen my Facebook wall for any period of time, there is quite a good chance if you give it for maybe 2 or 3 days, Dave will come in to argue with me about something. And we've known each other for, God, I don't know, about 20 years or so, and we have the most heated and vicious arguments, mainly about digital comics. But for all that, me and Dave
you can't give
all kinds of shit each other.
That on. Yeah, I agree.
There's a phrase in wrestling, right, which is that you have a lot of acquaintances, but you have very few friends, and that is how I view Dave.
Woo!
Right?
Sorry.
I will argue back and forth, black and white against Dave, but the good thing about Dave is he doesn't take it personally.
No, and he
has had my back in no end of situations. So I have all the time in the world for that guy. I'm not paying his bar bill though. Fuck him.
Well, no, and I'll never make that mistake again. But unless I'm really, really well off, at the time, but it just, I mean, and I came home and I told my wife, and she goes, $30 for one drink?
Bill's so shocked.
He's frozen.
How many?
You're still moving. Oh, there we go.
And his sound.
How many years ago was this? How many years ago was this?
I really think we need to make a meme out of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, his sound went.
$30 for one drink.
Your sound went, Bill. We can't hear you. I don't know if you're on mute or kicked out your sound.
Oh my! So first he was frozen, and now we can't hear you. Just can't hear a word you're saying, Bill. It's probably really funny. These are probably the funniest things.
I'd say log out and log back in, but Graham's not at the computer, so he wouldn't let him back in.
Yeah, my Kyle mute button appears to have muted Bill.
There you go.
Wait, you have a Kyle mute button?
Well, in my mind, I do.
Hey, I've been quiet for a while, so
you've been good. I don't know what's going on, Kyle. I was a bit worried.
Nope, no sound. You got to log back on.
This is fantastic. He's getting more anxious as it goes on.
Got to log back on, and Gray's not by his computer.
He's in a loop, worried about that $30 for.
I like the bit where he went sideways. That was quite good.
The joke I've been wanting to tell for an hour and a half has been if anybody in the chat's ever wondered what the group therapy session in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest is like, come on this show.
I have been auditioning for Randall P. McMurphy pretty much my whole life. So, yeah.
Yeah.
That was actually quite a good joke, Kyle. I like that one.
It is. It's a group therapy session with One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Nevs, you got to watch the old shows. When we get rolling with Hillary, when we get rolling with Tom Mandrake, and we get these guys on here, and we'll just get to rolling with it. Because
you're Kyle. You're that. I would like to say you're that big Indian guy, but he doesn't speak, so you can't be him.
I can't be. I'm Nurse Ratchet. Give me the.
I knew it.
You're like the worst Nurse Ratchet ever. You have all the authority of a carousel.
That may be the nicest thing I've ever heard. Considering yesterday, day before yesterday on one of the overnight shows. I'd been on it for a little while, then I got off, and I went back to watch part of it that I'd got off of. And they're talking, and these people are my friends. And I think this guy made this genuine statement. They're like, well, this is my cup of tea, that's my cup of tea. And he matter-of-factly just deadpanned, Kyle is nobody's cup of tea. And then you could have heard a pin drop, and then everybody laughed. And I took it as an utter compliment, but I mean, he just blurted out.
Doesn't sound like one. I'm not gonna lie to you.
I guess I'm nobody's cup of here, but
there are things that are true, but we necessarily don't say them all, right?
yeah. But no, I am definitely Randall. Now Bill's back on, and I bet
but Bill can't get in because Gray's not there. Gray's got to bring him in.
I do think the opportunity for the greatest moment of comic-related mime, right, is ahead of us.
And
Bill,
I will get Neil on this show.
We can't hear you, so I think you should do the rest of the show in interpretive dance.
Even if Neil comes on the show and all he does is, this is my monkey, and now we dance.
Can you not do the punchlines? Well, I've got.
And now we dance. And now on Sprockets is when we dance. Of course, Saturday Night Live probably doesn't mean much to you guys over there.
Yes, it does.
But
we had Celebrity Jeopardy, we had the Blues Brothers. We just had to watch it on YouTube and wait for a bit.
But yeah, we need. That's why people like coming on this show, because we jack around, we make points, we have opinions, we laugh hysterically, we dance the interpretive dance.
We had a guitar solo at the beginning of the show, Carl.
Johnny started out on his guitar.
Different. I have to say,
I don't even try and play guitar anymore. I've been sitting here for 2.5 hours, and I've lost feeling in my entire left arm.
You've seen Comic Bookworm's comment here. He says, I have FOMO for the Kyle mute button.
Nah, man. I love you, man. Don't even try and translate this, but comerme mis patelecillos, muchacho.
That sounded like a curse. Could you mean?
And it's nice enough that Bart Simpson says it. So, comerme mis patelecillos.
Usually the arbitrator of nice things is Bart Simpson.
And what's Bart's favorite cat? What's Bart's favorite catchphrase?
Gray's not here, Bill, at the risk of sounding a bit fight.
Gray is eating his dinner.
He ate already. He went to take a dookie poop. So
there's an information for the live studio audience.
So do you guys know Bart Simpson's famous line?
Don't have a cowman?
The other one. Don't sounds nice. Eat my shorts.
Oh, eat your shorts.
Comerme mis patelecillos means eat my skid mark shorts.
How many languages have you learned that in, Kyle?
That one, just that one. Okay. I've learned a lot of things in a lot of languages. I think up to 100. I think I got up to 35 languages on how to say I love you and about the same and fuck you.
Is it only Gray who can let him back in? Like nobody else?
It's Gray's channel. So
yeah, it's Gray's channel, but we've hijacked it. Now we're all going to stand up and twerk. We're twerking for you, Gray.
Bill, I will happily be your voice. If you want to type things, I will read them out in an absolutely not piss-taking accent.
Yeah. Hey, Nevs, if you haven't watched my waxing video, if you want to see, I did.
It's amazing how that just didn't happen to occur.
I've had my crack waxed, so.
Bill would like to tell you all that he is in the Phantom Zone.
Yeah.
Inspiration for the Fortress.
But
I thought you were looking. I think that's cheered you up a lot, Kyle. I think that should be something you do every month. It's
it's
reinvigorating.
Honestly, So far, it was $100 donation that started it, but so far that's raised over $300
Yeah.
for pediatric brain
Oh,
cancer.
that's excellent.
So I will let somebody go at my titties with a pair of tweezers if it's raising money for pediatric brain cancer research.
Surprisingly, Bill says, "Please, Kyle, no." And I feel that could apply to literally any sentence you've said in the last minute.
Titties.
No, that is pretty much the response to
All right.
any Kyle comment. You
No.
You
Since
could just
Graham hasn't reined this in. Here it comes. All right, you guys better be ready.
Okay, I'm finding a comic. Kyle, stop, for the love of God, Satan, any deity that springs to mind. Okay, I do have something from the Afghan. This is a comic more people should know about anyway.
I got multiple sizes of these, but I'm gonna get the big one.
We're looking at a comic.
So,
all right, we're not looking at comics. Are you ready for this?
Bill,
are you ready for this?
Please, Kyle.
This
stop.
is good TV. Nipple clamps, baby. Nipple clamps. You ready? Whoa! Nipple clamp. Nipple clamp. Get down. Hold on. Let's get on the other one here. Oh, nipple clamps. Here we go.
Yeah, I'm gonna win.
Let's do the booby swing. Let me do the booby swing. Oh, nipple clamp booby swing.
Great, come and rescue us. Great.
Ray, I've never been so happy to say any one human being.
Bill,
since
you
the
just
stripper at my last birthday. Nonetheless, Bill, you picked the best angle.
Now, I'm back. Oh, good. Yay, I'm out of the Phantom Zone.
All right.
Woo!
Now,
Woo!
here.
Kyle, stop now. Stop.
For particular tension.
Okay, sorry.
I still have a comic.
Me and Nev deserve some sort of medal for putting up with Kyle for 5 minutes by
without me or Gray.
Without you or Gray.
Yes.
At the very least, I want a no prize.
Oh, you'll get a no prize. Oh, you won't get a no prize.
You give me that no prize, young man. You find me that no prize in a proper envelope.
When you get an envelope from me and there's nothing in it, you'll know what it is.
All I want, just the envelope.
This is the best episode ever. I'm so glad we brought Nevs in. He makes things
It's the best episode with nipple
happy.
For sure.
Well, here's the thing. We're nippleless right now. Kyle has left, so I'm worried he's going to come back in naked. But oh my God! Oh God! Don't move. He's twerking. Oh my! Don't moon us. Whatever you do, do not moon. Oh,
right.
Did you take a while?
I'm sorry. I have to say no. Naman did help.
I can't do that again.
Through the comments, trying to deal with Kyle, but
he tried. He tried.
You know.
Naman, we love you. Thank you for your noble efforts there. We appreciate that.
I've seen things no one should.
No. Neither a bloke in Texas nor a bloke in Britain should have had to deal with this today. I'm just saying.
Was worse than Brexit.
I oughtn't to not want to be with Kyle right now. I'm kidding. I'm sorry. I've overplayed that joke, haven't I?
No, I think it's
I have to say
in relation to the trauma.
Oh my God! Oh, and then he puts his pants back on. Oh, great!
What's he shaking?
I don't know.
That's a thing. No one. Should
You
I was worried. I was
in a
worried
cardboard container now.
You know, I feel this might be a thing that has not translated to the UK. What is a yoo-hoo?
A yoo-hoo is a chocolate drink that basically contains no chocolate in it. And,
I thought you could carry on the explanation as long as you could till maybe the end of the show. And then Kyle being naked.
This is a yoo-hoo suppository.
And maybe we could just keep singing a song about yoo-hoos.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Does he realize he opened that already?
Kyle being naked. Naked. Kyle, we're sorry. The internet.
So, guys,
Kyle is Dr. Yoo-hoo now. Instead of Doctor Who.
I'm a comic book person who has just logged in to this show,
They would see nothing resembling comics.
I have some comics
I'll
as a
show
backdrop.
Here,
Actually,
I said
you
this
do
last
that,
week,
Nev.
but I'll show a comic
okay, that's excellent.
for those
Now,
people.
you've saved us because, yes, you're right. You do have a sort of comic-y background.
Who?
So, yeah.
Who has a comic-y background?
Nev.
You don't
Oh,
that,
Nev
you
does.
apologise.
Oh, no, oh, background, not
Not as
career
in
background,
not as in
but
chronology of life, but
background.
as
You
in
know, just from his picture. So if I
And
was-
there's Kyle drinking a yoo-hoo out of his butt.
Yeah.
Wait, what? Hey, man. Hey, man. Wait, where's
Whereas,
my finger?
you know,
There it is.
just looking at Gray, you don't know that he is
Not Alan Moore. Oh, sorry.
not Alan Moore. And
I'm Gray, not Alan Moore.
There you go, showing the comic. We're back on track.
Oh,
guys.
look
We're
at
back on track.
that.
We've got the comic guys back now because we just showed 2 comics and 3 comics.
3 comics. Do you guys have the count over there from Sesame Street? 1, 2, 3 comics. What is that? Rocket? Is that a postcard?
It is.
I've
It's a series
had
of Rocket
one of
postcards.
those before.
I don't know why I have these. Though.
Oh, Sabrina!
No one
Yeah,
would
but
buy
do you
it
have
from
the
me,
one
so
where their uncle wants equal rights? Oh, Betty. Oh, those are great colors. I never see those colors on an Archie comic. More, Gray, more.
Funny book us, man.
Oh, look at. Oh, that's a good cover.
From beyond the unknown.
I think I just heard a burp from Indiana.
I have a Ray Bradbury related thing once Gray's finished doing his thing.
World's finest.
Oh, between the legs.
That is a common motif on a
By
lot of superhero
Dawn.
Oh, that's good.
Ooh. Who published that?
And Clarion.
Clarion the Witch Boy?
I think you
Is
got
that
that
from
from
the
me.
7 Soldiers of Victory series?
Yep.
Oh.
No, it's not from that series, but it's the same
Oh, okay.
character. Yeah. From the Demon originally.
Yeah. No, I was just a big fan of his. So I have my Ray Bradbury related thing.
Oh, yeah.
So, back in the midst of time, when there were only 4 channels, there was this X-Files digest, right? Now, I'm not someone who's particularly interested in the X-Files.
I never knew Topps did that.
Yeah, they did. But the reason I have this is because after the reprint of issue 1, you get the Ray Bradbury's illustrated stories that Topps did. Still, la 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 la. La, 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 la. So this is The Visitor by Ray Bradbury, adapted by P. Craig Russell.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I
I
know,
know
right?
Craig.
Like nobody
He's a
seems
nice
to know
guy.
about these. But there were like 6 or 7 issues published by Topps, and it was like Harvey
Yeah.
Kurtzman's last comic was in there as well.
Yeah.
Is this William Stout? Oh no, this is an Al Williamson Ray Bradbury strip.
Oh, that's nice.
Well,
Very
you know about the stuff that Ray Bradbury did for EC, right? They used a
I can
lot of
hear you,
his
Bill.
stories. And so Al Williamson probably drew some of his stuff back in the 50s.
Mm-hmm.
Ray
Oh,
got
cool.
upset at him and said, "Why am I not getting a paycheck?" And they started sending him one, and then they started adapting all his stories.
Yeah.
That's a
So-
great story.
Uh-huh.
I bet my
I
next
actually
drink
don't
choice
care
will bring
if-
applause.
Oh, this is the last one. This is the Time Safari
Liquid
story.
Death.
I think it's
Liquid
Richard
Death.
Corbin, but I'm probably wrong.
That's not a beer, is it?
That looks like Corbin. I think that's Corbin.
It is a Corbin. Okay.
Liquid
Corbin,
Death.
yeah.
Yeah.
Liquid Death.
So yeah, these Ray Bradbury comics ran like 6 or 7 issues, and like Mike Mignola. There was literally the last comic.
Yeah,
that
I
Harvey
have some of
Kurtzman
those.
ever did with Matt Wagner.
I've got the Ray Bradbury Topps comics. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
They're just beautiful things that like has been lost to the world. But yeah, like
No,
as I
I've
say,
got
I have
them.
no interest in the X-Files whatsoever.
Okay.
But
Right.
these have them reprinted.
No, I've got the Tops Ray Bradbury comics. They were really good. Yeah, they're up in the attic somewhere.
Did I mention it's Ash Wednesday? I'm kidding. Sorry. I'm going back to that again.
Are you
Bill,
really
it's written
working
all
on
over your
that now,
face.
Bill?
I'd go over well in
Bill.
North Ireland, right? Wait, is it North Ireland that I want to
Do you
be
put
in, or do I want to
pancakes
be
on
in
your head?
regular
Leaving
Ireland? I don't remember all that IRA stuff. I'm sorry.
Do you guys know who Rachel Bloom is?
Yes.
The actress?
Yeah. From
Look up the
Crazy
video.
Ex-Girlfriend.
Yeah, Crazy Ex-Girlfriend. Look up the video, Fuck Me Ray Bradbury.
What?
That's where she got
Well, she must
famous.
be a necrophiliac.
She did a YouTube video called Fuck Me Ray Bradbury.
Yeah,
And that's the show, ladies and gents, and we're out.
It's
we
hysterical.
can't get more necrophiliac than that.
It's comedic. It's smart. It's funny. It's great.
And it's Disturbed, because he was already dead for 10 years when she did the video, but
yeah.
we love her anyway.
But it's about good mind fucking, really. But you know,
she's in another show now too. But yeah.
Or is that about Hugh Hefner? Or...
No, it's about a sitcom that never existed 20 years ago, and they're trying to bring it back, and all the people are grown or older, and it's funny. She's Paul Reiser's daughter, and he's the guy who created the show. She's the person trying to bring it back, and he gets in her way. It's kind of a fun show. I can't remember the title though, so
hey
make
Bill,
that big of an imprint.
Bill, your asshole is showing more now.
My what?
Your asshole is showing.
My
more
asshole.
now.
Thank you very much. Thank you. My wife's actually looked like an asterisk. Mine actually still looks kind of like a cross. She got
an inverted cross.
That,
Yours
it's
was
inverted.
upside down cross. I thought you were possessed by Satan.
Right?
No.
I didn't want to
And
say
yet
this,
again,
but I'm
Upside down cross.
The humor,
Satan
humor
went
to it all.
hell today, or...
The humor to it all. I could have opened that can of liquid death, and I could have made that holy water.
Okay.
I literally could have made that holy water.
Okay, I want to show you guys this because I don't think I'm going to drink. I will probably try some, but so my cousin came down from Virginia, and apparently this is Everclear with condensed weed juice. And by weed juice, you know what I mean. But he said he had like barely a sip of this and was out in the stratosphere for like an hour last night. So am I going to drink this? No, probably not.
That's
But
bog water.
First.
it does. That's exactly what it looks like. It looks like it, but it's Everclear, and it smells like weed. It's just, I mean, this is the new moonshine, folks. I'm just saying.
Dilute a hell of a lot before you take it, mate.
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah, if I even drink any. You know, if I have any enemies over, here, try a swig of this.
He'll take a swig of that and be dancing down the road singing so much pretty afterglow naked. Oh, I'm naked.
Cheers.
Hey, give me some of that. Maybe I'll keep my clothes on if I take something like that.
No, you would take all your clothes off, I'm betting. Yeah. I would not make that bet. Look at Nevs. Nevs is over there going.
The uglier I get, the more I want to run through the neighborhood.
I don't know.
Okay, here's a comic.
I wanted to buy that.
I love that.
Mark. In all seriousness, Mark, I wanted to buy that. I wanted it bid for that. I wanted to buy that because you only ended up with 35 quid.
Oh, that's awesome.
This is. Does anybody know? This is actually. I'll tell you. This is the first Batman team up.
Batman.
Braving the Bold.
Oh, that is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like
what
the
issue
third
number is that?
crossover. 59.
Yeah.
That was the first Batman.
Yeah, it's
Breaking the
the
Bolt?
first Batman crossover. But
Yeah.
Batman
They
team
had
up.
other crossovers before that, though, didn't they?
Yeah, they
had
did. Yeah,
Different
okay.
people, but
yeah.
yeah.
They had things like Green Lantern and Martian Manhunter and things like that.
He had
But-
that
Well,
up
and they
for
also
35
had
quid.
Starman and
yeah, and Black Canary.
Black Canary. Yeah.
Yeah, but this is the first Batman one.
You had that up for 35 quid.
Yeah, I did.
What?
And nobody bought that, did they?
Nobody
Holy fudge!
I want nothing more than to buy that, but I don't have that much money.
No, Kyle, don't worry. I'll probably add it to a pile for you. This is
The Kyle pile.
I've got I put my Kyle pile.
Your Kyle
No
pile.
joke, please. And yeah, so yeah, it's a beauty. I've got all but about 6 of Brave and the Bold. I've got my eyes on one of the remaining 6 I don't own, but yeah, this is a nice one.
Yeah.
What else have I got here? Yeah,
Even I knew the significance of that one. It was like, yeah,
Even
I
you
don't know
know
how somebody didn't snatch that up either.
Okay, that's one of my favorite comics of all time. I'll tell you, I was a senior in high school when that came out, and the month between that and the next issue was like pulling teeth for me. It took so long because I was dying to find out that everybody dies, basically. You know.
Yeah.
But it's probably, and I'm glad they made it a movie, but it's probably the best 2 issues of X-Men ever, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But you have to know all the other X-Men stuff to get it. But I'm saying it's probably the best 2 issues.
Yeah,
ever.
if I didn't get that in our last trade, I would have been going nuts for that one too.
Oh, that's a British one too.
Yeah.
UK price variant.
Yeah.
God, that's
Rachel Summers. You know, I mean, it's just a great issue, isn't it?
So were they still doing the 5% at that point, Mark?
Doing the what?
The 5%. The first 5% were made for the
5 to 10%.
Around about 5%. Yeah.
Yeah.
But if
it's
you go
gorgeous.
Census, the problem is that quite a lot of these, because they were shipping overseas, they got destroyed. So usually the British price variance is 1 in 50 to 1 in 100. So
Whoa! And no one has a clue.
They haven't. The market just doesn't price it in. It has not recognized.
And they're always nicer because they're the first off the press.
Yeah.
Well, you know what's funny to me? Someone in the EC group is trying to sell, and he's a nice guy, but he's trying to sell a 1972 Spanish EC comic. 1972, mind you, Spanish EC comic for $350, and it's like that's not really the market. I mean, you could buy the original still for about $350.
Yeah,
the EC, and so I think he's just overpriced it. But
it has.
Severely.
I would agree with that.
What are you drinking now, Kyle?
I told you, in real life, I'm just vanilla.
You're vanilla. That looks green to me. That doesn't
Zero
look
sugar,
vanilla.
lemon, lime, Gatorade. I'm really just vanilla and boring.
Yeah, as you shove that yoo-hoo up your butt. Oh, that's a great cover. Oh, I love that.
This is the first full appearance of him.
Oh, I love that.
Where he tries to steal Thor's girlfriend.
I need that one. I passed on those 2, but that's the shilling of it too, isn't it? Oh, yeah. We could run.
Is he trying to steal Sif or Jane? Oh, it's Sif. Okay.
Yeah.
It is Sif. Okay.
Yeah. If you want to put that on a trade pile, if it doesn't sell,
I probably will, Kyle. I've just got this graded. I've got another. I had a really good copy of this. Just had it graded. I think it's coming back a 6, 5, or 7. So, yeah.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. And here we go. And I know
Show some more.
I'll showed this one before, but this is the first appearance of Black Lightning.
Yeah. They shop. Hey,
Trevor Von Eden was like 17
speaking of, hold on a second, guys. Shop has been doing everybody's superheroes. Maybe he should do our panel as superheroes, and we could make it our show backboard.
Yeah, that would be
just
great.
saying.
Just saying. So this is DC's first titled black superhero, which interestingly came out about a month after Black Panther won.
Oh, shocking.
Hey, Graham, you got an copy of that, don't you?
No.
Gray?
No.
No?
Did you already trade it away?
He has
butt
one.
monkey. You butt monkey. I took my autographed copy of that and I just AOK'd it to him.
This is fun. This is
The Death of Ned Leeds.
The Death of Dead Leaves. No, it's not. It's
It is.
Is it? Oh, it is dead.
Yeah,
You're right.
that
It
is the Death of Dead.
Who said that?
He dies in that?
Yeah.
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 Who said that? Who said it was the
Nevs did.
Nevs.
Nev beat me to it. Yeah.
You are absolutely right. That is really good comics knowledge. I've actually got it written on the back of here. Death of Ned Leeds.
I see the mirror behind you that you can't see. I read it off that.
Is he Hobgoblin when he dies?
Yes, but no.
Thank you.
Okay, so I can do this if you want.
Yes.
The original plan was it was going to be Roderick Kingsley, and then Roger Stern walked off the book, and he said, "I'm not telling you who the Hobgoblin is. You're going to have to make it up for yourselves." So Tom DeFalco and James Owsley basically had to work it out between them, but they weren't particularly friendly. So in Amazing Spider-Man, the Hobgoblin was one person, and in Spectacular Spider-Man, it was building to someone else. And then out of nowhere, the Spider-Man Wolverine one-shot comes out where Peter David kills off Ned Leeds as part of the story, but it was always heading towards Ned Leeds. So now they were like, we don't have a Hobgoblin, so we're going to have to say Ned Leeds was the Hobgoblin, but got killed in a story completely unrelated to the Hobgoblin. And that's why Roger Stern wrote Spider-Man Hobgoblin Lives, which explained that Ned Leeds wasn't a Hobgoblin, but he was brainwashed into thinking he was.
Wow.
That's actually
fucking stupid. Pardon my French. That is just
you think it's
stupid.
stupid. I waited 25 years for the payoff of that story, Bill.
Oh, I know. No, I know. That's why it's so ridiculous. And don't
But
get
it
me
doesn't matter because
started.
Ned Leeds is alive now.
What? Well, in the MCU, in the real comics,
Yeah.
Apparently,
This is the first time we see Wolverine and Spider-Man facing off as well.
can you hear me hitting my head against the bar?
I feel we may possibly upstage Mark's
Ned
spot.
Leeds.
Mark, would you like to try that again without us ranting about the whole
Yeah.
subject?
Well, Mark's just pulling out a Kyle stack.
So you know what I realized tonight? I realized that Mark looks just like Guillermo del Toro. You do. You guys
I
could be
actually do look
brothers.
a bit like
You
Guillermo.
could be brothers. I love that.
Yeah, I know.
So from now on, it's Mark Del Toro.
Mark Del Toro.
Marco Del Toro.
And he actually does laugh.
Marco Del Toro, surely.
I love that. I love
Glasses
that.
on or glasses off? Glasses on for Del Toro. Right.
You're like the opposite Superman.
right.
You're only Del Toro when you put on the
Okay.
glasses.
So
okay.
I'm amazed I got the last one. So who can tell me what this is?
A metallic cover.
Yes.
It's the first Kane?
No.
First Ben Reilly?
Yes. It's the first Ben Reilly.
Oh.
But it's not. 'Cause that's the first Ben Reilly is in the Clone Saga. Is in the original Clone story.
Yeah, but I mean, they brought him back. That's where
This
they.
is officially recorded as the first Ben Reilly in costume.
Yep, and I'm 99% sure who wrote that.
A man.
I'm 99% sure JM wrote that.
Who wrote
Who?
it?
I'm 99% sure JM wrote that one.
He
J.M.
might have done.
Demetrius.
Yeah.
Yeah.
he might have done.
Yeah, probably so.
I am 99% sure that I could be wrong, but I
I'm
don't
gonna
think
find
I'm
out.
wrong.
I'm going to open it up.
I thought
Look it
actually
up.
you were saying that David Bowie's
Might
widow
be-
wrote that. I thought you said Iman, not a man.
I did say a man, and I'm not wrong.
And
You're right.
only that,
You're right.
this is a fabulous flip cover. So it's
And
got
shiny
two
as well.
covers.
It's so
Right.
shiny.
It's shining. Look, it's got. Which decade do you think this might be from?
Would that
Oh,
be the
come on.
mid-90s?
Mid-90s?
Would that be the mid-90s? Would that maybe
Right.
be?
let me
Late
see
90s.
if- let me
Late
see if
90s.
Kyle is
94.
right.
Late 90s.
Kyle is not right.
Ah!
Story and art, Howard Mackey and Tom Lyle, Scott Hanna finishers. There you go.
What
JM,
year?
didn't you get
I
credit
think
in that?
Hannah
No,
may be
no,
the track
no
that
jam
Kyle was
credit.
referring to on
It's got
Stormwatch
nice,
earlier.
nice artwork.
So what
You know
year?
who hey, if you've opened up again,
Yeah,
the advert for Maximum Carnage,
yeah.
do you know who painted that?
That one.
Yeah,
Alex Ross, right?
Bill Sinkovich.
Oh, Sinkovich did that.
Sienkiewicz.
Okay. That's
It's
nice.
pronounced Sienkiewicz.
Sienkiewicz.
I was
who
Pronounced Sienkiewicz.
also should be on this show soon, right, Bill?
This is,
Yes, I will ask Bill. I have not asked Bill yet, but I am going to ask him.
yeah, this is 94.
94.
This is
Okay,
a
I
great
thought it was
book.
late 90s.
I've sold a couple of these. It's just a fantastic look. Flip.
It is a gorgeous book. I mean, at
I
least
thought
the cover.
JM was elbow deep in bringing him back.
Well, he's not credited here.
Wait, is Ben Riley Uncle Ben?
No, but it's named for him.
It's what?
That's
It's named for him.
that's the pseudonym he decided to use when he
Yeah.
skittered off.
Basically, Ben.
And it turned out he
realizes
was the
he
real
and Keith are
Peter.
the same person, so he has to go away. So he grows a beard and a mullet and calls
Yeah.
himself Ben.
Ben Riley is the real Peter too. So
No,
What?
he isn't.
yeah, he is.
No, he isn't. I will do this all night. Don't make me spider clone at you. I've read
This is by bar none the best
Ask me
episode
who
ever.
Stunner is. I know.
Oh, I
Don't
love
come
that
in here.
issue.
Yeah.
That is such a great issue.
I mean, I just love it.
Mm.
And the series was so much like it. It made me happy.
Didn't
the TV
Deadpool
series.
rip that off? Sorry, did it not use it as an inspiration?
Oh no, it was totally because she yeah.
Somebody
she
wake
broke
Gray
the
up.
fourth wall. Oh no, it was all based on the Byrne issues, I think.
Yeah. Somebody wake Gray up. We put him to sleep.
Gray, wake up!
I'm going to come around your house and rip up all your X-Men if you don't buy this. I think it's just one of the great covers.
It is. And I also like that cover where she's photographed nude on the Fantastic Four, and she's showing the pin up, and she's looking at it. I love that.
Yeah.
And they have a Bob Guccione who looks more like Stan Lee in there, but that's another story altogether. Original fourth wall break. Oh, Shop for Comics is right.
Yeah, absolutely. Way ahead of Deadpool.
Yep.
About
Ambush Bug,
Contemporary Ambush Bug, though.
Let me go fourth wall real quick. Okay, so the guys don't realize there's also a story going on outside of our show. And so I wanted to sorry, that's all I'll do.
And one involves getting a Yoo-Hoo enema.
Yeah, the Yoo-Hoo enema. Let me explain. No, I'll let Kyle explain it. Now, Kyle, you break the fourth wall.
Okay. So,
no!
What I'm doing.
No. Phil, that was all your fault.
I know. What did I do?
This reality now.
How
Oh,
stupid
hey,
am I? No!
The problem is, as She-Hulk once said, if you keep on breaking the fourth wall, eventually you have no foundation.
Even though
wait, finish that. Nevs, say that again.
Said if you keep breaking the fourth wall, eventually you have no foundations.
That's true. You've got to use it sparingly.
Oh my gosh.
I'm just going to sit here and do this.
What are you doing?
I'm just quoting Jan.
Is that floppy jacking?
Oh my god!
We didn't need an illustration.
Hold on, I gotta go to the left hand.
Oh
I'm
my
not
god!
with my left hand. Nope,
Okay,
I gotta do
folks.
it right-handed.
Okay, this is going downhill fast.
I think that's because you told her to break the fourth wall, Bill. I don't think quite
Oh,
right.
Nevs is now breaking the fourth wall.
Just some dude floppy jacking with a fucking banana Yoo-Hoo enema, because that's just life now. That's my life now, and you're welcome to it. The internet. Why are you going through this? talk to some mad old bloke who has a singing tumor.
Can we change the name of this podcast to Floppy Jacking?
Why
I'm
don't we
just
call it
asking
Dante's
for a
Inferno?
friend. Either that or you, Enema.
I'm a man of many hats. You guys tell me which hat works best for me.
The quiet.
God. Now we're in the hats. Oh my God.
Oh my God!
So
Why are you guys false?
I got a witch
How did you
hat.
turn purple when you put that on? That was so
I
weird.
got a Thomas the Train Conductor hat. Or my
Okay.
favorite. I
like the witch hat
think
more.
this one would be the best.
You look
That's
like
a woman's hat, dude. Where in the
Well,
world
yeah.
is Carmen San Diego?
I'm going all Jackie O here.
No, you're going
think the
Carmen
second-
San Diego, dude. Where
I
in the
think the
world
second-
are you? Indiana.
Greg?
Wait,
But-
guys, stop! Put the hat back on.
Put the hat back on.
Previous hat, Kyle. You look like Terry Pratchett. You look exactly like Terry Pratchett.
He does actually. Yeah, it's a bit similar.
Well, but Terry's dead, so you don't look like skull
Is
and
he?
skeleton eyes. Sorry, Terry Pratchett fans.
I think you're being a bit too literal.
Abrupt.
Yeah, I know I am. Sorry.
That's the problem with your cosplay, Kyle. You're not dead
You
enough.
know,
I'm thinking of a
somebody says
DC
you look
cover,
like
Mark.
Marilyn Monroe, you don't mean a skeleton.
Hey, lots of people call me this. Let's see if you guys get the reference here. Lots of people call me this.
Wait, what?
Lots of people call me this. I don't know
Does anybody
why.
remember when
Space
this show
Cowboy?
was about?
Some call you the gangster of love. Wait, some people call you Maurice.
Oh,
Some people call me this. An ass hat. An ass hat. Yep. Ass hat.
I'm going to show another comic.
Why?
So we're meant to be talking about comics.
Thanks.
So this is
The main man.
the main man.
Oh, that's gorgeous.
It is
Is that a Bisley cover?
It's a bit of biz, and you can't beat a bit of biz.
a bit of biz?
Is that a Bisley cover?
I think so.
Yeah.
Easily, yeah.
Of course it is.
So since we're talking about necrophilia,
I bought it new. I bought it new. I've got 3 copies.
Kyle is having fun with the skeleton.
Okay, now his
Oh,
Terry Pratchett cosplay
okay.
is more authentic.
Who's more frightened, Kyle or Lobo? I'd go for Kyle.
I don't know. Lobo's
Look,
pretty cute
watch
there.
me put her legs up. You ready? Ready? Here we go.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! That's what the skeleton's saying right
Cowgirl,
now.
baby.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my
Right.
god!
Okay, so my really worrying thing here is Kyle is sober because he's not drinking. What was he like back in the day when he drank?
So we think.
Angry, and I punched a lot of people. That's why my knuckles are so scarred up.
Reassuring.
I'm a mean drunk.
Look, my knuckles are recessed. So I have one spear in each hand.
They look
Then
quite-
when I put my fingers together, man, we're really reaching here. When I put my fingers together, I have a scar, a perfect
you
scar.
do.
But look, my fingers are so messed up.
You
Stair
were
step here.
dangers if you know.
Stair stepped and did.
What's happened to that middle finger? It looks smaller than the rest.
Yeah, and well, it is on both hands, but on this hand, my longest finger is this.
Were your parents cousins?
No, they were not, strangely enough. But they did come from Arkansas and Louisiana, so it's
Okay.
completely feasible.
Yeah.
But no,
They probably were.
no, it was a field and a
It was nothing to
pulley.
do.
Do you play a banjo?
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna quit that one. Gray looks more like he belongs in that era than I do.
You
I mean,
got
the
a pretty
beard.
mouth, Bill.
You look like
Did
you're
somebody
Kentucky,
say
man.
stripper glitter?
No.
Let's see.
No,
No.
we said nothing about
Kitty
stripper
glitter. Anybody want to see me my ass wax cover?
No,
Kitty glitter.
no. We've gone 3 hours. This might be a good time to say
Okay.
goodbye.
I think
That's about enough.
Kyle is
Right, we need to
which
play
one is
before
the
Kyle
feedback
shows
at the
us.
end.
Yes, yeah. He's getting rid of all
Make
of
that
like,
rule, right?
he
I'm
wanted to
going
go to
out.
sleep, so
I've
he's
got
pulled
to
out
leave
the stripper
tonight.
glitter.
I can't cope with activity.
Kyle. Okay. So where'd everybody go? Did Mark leave?
Probably the
Yeah,
wisest.
Purple titty glitter.
Mark left it at the right time. Hey, now, Louisiana guy.
Yeah,
wait,
Live
what?
from London on Wednesday night. Before he gets his nipples out, I'm out of here. Good night.
Yeah. Okay, guys. Good night.
Purple titty glitter.
Good night, everybody.
Titty glitter.
Good night.
Titty glitter.
Good night.